Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live Daily Show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At NextRound.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting NextRound.store.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
When you can't find the light, guide you through a cloudy day. When the stars ain't shining bright, feels like you've lost your way. When the candle lights of old burn so very far away, well, you got to let your soul shine, just like my daddy used to say soul shine. It's better than sunshine, it's better than moonshine, it's damn sure better than rain. Yeah, my people don't mind, we all feel this way sometimes. Got to let your soul shine, shine till the break of day. I grew up thinking I had it made, gonna make it on my own. Love can take the strongest man and make him feel so alone. Now and then I feel a cold wind blowing through my aching bones. I think down to when my daddy said, before the darkness in the dawn, he said, soul shine, it's better than sunshine, it's better than moonshine, it's damn sure better than rain. Yeah, my people don't mind, we all feel this way sometimes. Got to let your soul shine, shine through the break of day. Sometimes a man can feel this emptiness, like a woman robbed him of his very soul. Oh, a woman too, God knows she can feel like this. For the body, you got to let your spirit take control. Sunshine, it's better than moonshine, it's damn sure better than rain. Yeah, my people don't mind, we all feel this way sometimes. Better let your soul shine, shine through the break of day.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Tuesday show, welcome in. Lance Taylor is back from the beach. Dunaway's still on his anniversary getaway. He'll be back with us on Thursday. Rockstar is here. Scott Forrester, Lunceford, Tyler, little T on social media. EG with us before she heads back out to camp tomorrow. Welcome back, Lance. How was the beach?
It was good, man. You know, EG just came in. She was like, "How was Boston?" I was like, "Yeah, we did an audible."
That's right.
Didn't make
I
it.
forgot she was out at the end of the week going to Bama and Auburn.
So my plans changed dramatically, but I got to run down the beach one final time with young Jack before he goes back to school, which is almost impossible to believe. It's in 2 days.
It's Thursday. I mean, my wife just reminded me of that school starts back Thursday.
Yeah, it's just not fair to the kids.
Yeah.
Again, I've never understood the calendar. I know I've gotten redundant saying this, but you get out Memorial Day, you go back after Labor Day.
God, it seems like that would be so easy, right?
Yeah, I mean, everybody's on the same calendar.
Yeah. I mean, I can.
And then we know what to expect with traffic.
Yeah, it's true. Good point. Yeah, Thursday and Friday traffic will be awful coming to work.
Because nobody can gauge exactly the time they need to leave.
I know. That first day of school traffic sucks. It, for whatever reason, though, it always levels back out. Like by the time school gets going a little bit, you're always back to normal traffic patterns. Now, summer that's sweet coming to work.
Yeah, it's the best. And speaking of traffic patterns, I think it's nearly impossible to come back from the beach on 65 South once you get south or north of Montgomery and not have some kind of traffic jam.
We got
clear every time.
Every time, right?
We had it yesterday. So it's like middle of the day Monday, and there's just a random ass wreck.
It was Sunday coming back from Mobile after we moved our daughter in, Rockstar. They Waze rerouted me in Clanton.
Yep. That's
like
what it is
it
every
was
time.
like, I'm not even going to let you get close to Birmingham. We're going to get you off the interstate here in Clanton, Alabama, and go back roads.
Yeah, I
There's
don't get
no telling what it was.
Because, I've heard people will give up that final day at the beach to leave later in the afternoon or that night. I think you might have done this before.
I've done it before, yeah.
Yeah, my buddy Will Haber does it all the time. And they'll give up the final day. Not that you're really giving anything up. You're basically just giving up whatever that final night is and what that morning is, because nobody's like going to the beach that morning.
Yeah.
But people will leave that night, and it's like you still catch traffic. If you ever go to or back on a Saturday, good night.
Oh boy, yeah, it is brutal coming back, and I don't get it. It's almost as if I think we were pretty short-sighted in our building of the interstate system. Like, why did we settle for the most part on on 4-lane interstates? Why did we not look at this and say, if we build a bigger road, more people are going to take it. Let's just go ahead and build 8 lanes.
Yeah, why not?
I mean, yeah, and if nobody uses one of the lanes, that's fine. We'll have it for emergency.
Yeah, and honestly, it should be Autobahn-like.
Yeah.
Like if you had 8 lanes, you really could have like 2 or 3 lanes where there's no limit.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to drive normal, you just drive over in these right 2 lanes, left 2, and trucks trucks you can only use the right 2 lanes. Left 2 lanes is for cars only. I mean, we could, if we redid it, we could do it so much better right now.
And does everybody think everybody else is a bad driver?
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, people riding your ass where they've got nowhere to go. Like you're basically in that jam where Rockstar's talking about Calera.
Yeah.
And people are still up on you. And I'm like, you've got nowhere to go.
Oh, I know. I had the one guy that is, he's in a white SUV. And he's flying up behind people and he's swerving over like in the middle of the road. And he is tailgating people and he's right in front of me. And eventually somebody gets over. So then he flies up and does it to the next car. You know what I'm doing? I'm riding right behind him. Because there's nowhere to go. Like you're getting all these cars to get over and you're really not making any progress. You and I are getting to the same place at the same time.
Right. And what do people say? You can't leave the scene of an accident, right? And so I'm watching guys do that. And I'm like, the next thing you know, it's going to be an accident. And then I've got to pull over and waste my day.
Yeah. It is. Boy, a lot of old man griping here about the traffic.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
guys, you enjoyed the beach. Yeah.
It was great. We missed the hurricane. There were people panicking about that, but I think the hurricane was like, down in the Keys.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was a hurricane coming until it already made landfall. So.
Yeah, I thought those waiting for football season, right?
No, it seems like
those are supposed to cancel our South Florida and our UCF games.
Yeah, Florida-Miami was the one that was supposed to be like,
Sometimes it'll creep up there and get one of the Carolinas.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're back. We got a lot to get to. NFL on the show today. We got plenty of college football on the show today. From Auburn camp, the player that Justin Hokanson says all the players are talking about. We'll discuss that. From Alabama camp, weights. Weights, not like weights, lifting weights, like what people weigh. There were differences in that yesterday. Some guys have added weight. We'll discuss that.
Does anybody drop weight?
As the roster has come out, there have been weight changes. Maybe when is weight a wellness?
Remember back in the day when everybody wanted space eaters? Remember when Terrence Cody was coming?
Oh,
through?
yeah.
Everybody's like, man, this JUCO guy is massive.
Yeah, I mean, he takes up 2 blockers, sometimes 3.
What did Terrence Cody come in at, like 380?
Probably so, and I don't think he ever backed off that.
No.
Like, I don't think he was one of the ones where fall camp, like, Terrence is having trouble keeping weight on. I think Terrence was one of the ones that, no, that's no trouble at all.
Yeah, and didn't think it was a problem.
Yeah, Terrence just fine keeping weight on. Let me look. I was going to look. Our buddy Clint Lamb, more on him coming up Thursday. Let me see if there are any minuses. Lance, I only see pluses.
Okay. Well.
So, man, that's not to say there were no minuses, but I think he's only maybe he's only reporting the pluses here. Let me expand
well,
this.
Yeah, I mean, I think
pluses.
most people bulk, especially when you get a high school guy come in.
Yeah.
I would think some of these offensive linemen, though, trying to tone it up a little bit.
There's one minus 17. Somebody dropped 17 pounds.
I'm going to guess an offensive lineman.
You want those guys to get bigger, man. So we'll discuss that from Alabama and Auburn camp. Now, one of the big stories in college football that bears watching, we are not going to spend every day talking about this. I do know it came up yesterday, and Adam Rittenberg was on the show to talk about the Michigan situation and how it could impact Sherrone Moore, the new Michigan coach. And as he told us yesterday, as Rittenberg told us, Lance, suspension, even a lengthy suspension, is absolutely not off the table for Sherrone Moore, which I would find ironic that that's kind of the way he interviewed for the job, right?
Right.
Was that Jim Harbaugh got suspended.
Yeah, Harbaugh suspended because of all of this going on in the Connor Stallions, and now that you've got the full-time gig, we're going to suspend you.
I mean, it is a.
I just don't think the NCAA's got the power.
Well, it was basically the Big Ten that stepped in and did it to Harbaugh, right? The Big Ten stepped in and said, we're going to take this off the table. You're going to be suspended the last 4 games.
But if Moore is suspended, it's going to be the NCAA.
Well, you would think, unless the Big Ten does the same thing and just steps in and says, we're going to put an end to this, here's the suspension. But I'm with you. You would think it comes from the NCAA. And I don't know that they have the teeth to do this. The thing about Sherrone Moore is that he is now technically a repeat offender, because he already had an agreed-upon settlement with the NCAA over a previous recruiting situation back in COVID that got Jim Harbaugh initially. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, this doesn't impact him at all because he's now the head coach of the Los Angeles Chargers.
When you look at him, can you tell? You remember, I think it was our man, was it Christopher Walken in True Romance that could tell when somebody was lying by, the muscles in their face? I forgot exactly how he explained it, but can you tell if Jim Harbaugh is actually lying here?
Well,
because I know he is. Let's just see if you can tell he is.
His mouth is moving, so I'm going to assume. So with all of this percolating now, he's asked in Chargers camp his role, his thoughts on the sign stealing scandal, his role in it, all of that, and this is the Chargers head coach's response.
Yeah, I do have a comment on that. Never lie, never cheat, never steal. I was raised with that lesson. I have raised my family on that lesson. I have preached that lesson to the teams that I've coached. No one's perfect. If you stumble, you apologize, and you make it right. Today, I do not apologize. I did not participate, was not aware, nor complicit in those said allegations. So for me, it's back to work and attacking with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind.
God, he's such a weirdo. What's a better shirt? Attacking enthusiasm
unknown to mankind,
or never lie, never cheat, never steal.
Now, he didn't explicitly say this, but he inferred this. So please understand, I'm not saying he explicitly said what I'm about to say. You know who I never trust? You know who I never trust? People who say they never lie.
Yeah.
I never trust that guy. If it's like, I never lie, so I wouldn't have lied about that. I'm like, yeah, I'd completely distrust you. Because I also, like Jim Harbaugh, was raised never lie, never cheat, never steal. You know what I've done? I've lied. I've cheated. And by definition, I've stolen.
Yeah, I mean, you walk in theaters without paying.
Okay,
so,
I knew that was going to I thought about that the other day. I thought Lance will never let that one go.
Nobody stopped me. It's on
Right.
them.
Again, that is a completely misrepresented story.
Look, everybody's done these things, but it just almost seems laughable that you run a program the size of Michigan and you come out and act like that you're not complicit at all. I mean, it would be impossible to run a program of that magnitude and not know that you had a support staff that was out there stealing signs.
Yeah, I don't believe that for 1 second.
But you know what? For Harbaugh, it doesn't matter. He's gone to the NFL. There are no repercussions.
Yeah, I mean, I would almost respect it more if he's like, look, I hate that for Michigan. I hope for the best. I'm the coach of the Chargers. I'm here to talk about Justin Herbert.
Yeah. I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
That's right.
Look, I talked about this all last year. I served my suspension.
Yep. I've done my time. I am an NFL head coach now. That is an old story to me. Next question.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that for 1 second that he didn't know about it. These coaches are maniacal control freaks. They know everything that goes on of consequence in their program. Like, do you think anything of that level could happen in Nick Saban's program without Nick Saban knowing?
Zero chance.
No. I mean, that's or
I mean,
Kirby
nobody would have the balls to do things without Nick Saban knowing, to put a program in jeopardy without the head of the snake knowing, right? Like, even if you're working for Jim Harbaugh at Michigan, there's no way you're going to color outside of the lines without him knowing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He 100% knew about it. It's ridiculous for him to act otherwise. It doesn't even impact him anymore. I mean, that's why I'm not going to get super wound up about it.
I just think it's, when the first story, when it broke, I mean, there were people on both sides of the spectrum, like, this is the worst thing Michigan's ever done. And there were other people saying that everybody does it. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
I just think now where we sit here on August 6th, I don't think anybody cares at all.
No, I really don't. I mean, I think the only thing that remains about this is what the NCAA does to it. And that's really the level to which I care is Sherrone Moore. But even last year, I mean, Jim Harbaugh, a proven head coach, was suspended, and it didn't impact Michigan one bit. They still won all the games he was suspended for. So I don't even know if they suspend Sherrone Moore if it matters. So I don't believe Jim Harbaugh right there. I know he didn't say he never lies. He said he was raised to never lie. But never trust a man that tells you he never lies. I believe that is his first line.
Yeah, I don't think we would sell a lot of that T-shirt. Never lie, never cheat, never steal.
Yeah, I don't want to put the spotlight on me. Now, people are saying never trust me in a scramble golf tournament because I just admitted that at some point I've lied. Everybody in a scramble cheats. Like, you get that, right?
That's so obnoxious. Though, like,
they all do it though.
But I've never understood that. It's like trivia. We go to trivia. Like, okay, you're going to win a $100 gift card. What does it prove if you Google the answer?
Yeah, I agree completely with you. Now, I should say I never play in scrambles, but everybody in scrambles cheats. So let's don't act like you would be alone.
I've got to tell you, man, maybe I've just gotten lucky, but most of the teams I play with in scrambles haven't cheated.
Really?
Now, we'll go in with an unbelievable minus, we're 16 under, and then a team will come up and they're 38 under, and you're like, that's impossible.
They absolutely cheated. The last scramble I played in was the Jacksonville State.
You hate them, don't you?
Huh?
Don't you hate them?
I'm not a big scramble fan. I got to be honest with you.
See, I love them because if you suck at golf, then you're playing best ball is the way to do it.
Well, my situation is if I'm going to play golf, I want my own score. And generally scrambles take forever. And I don't enjoy the format, but I'm happy to help people raise money. And I do it for Jack State every year. I play in their athletic department scramble and their golf team scramble every year. And you'll love this. We actually played there was no cheating. I can honestly say this. Phil Boozer was our team captain. You know Phil. He played it straight. And we came in with a score, and we were in first place. And there were 3 scores that weren't turned in yet. And I went back to the table, and I was like, well, the best we're going to finish is second. And they're like, how do you know? I was like, because there's 3 scores that aren't turned in yet.
And I guarantee you they're finding out
That's right.
what the leading score is right now.
That's right. They're going to adjust the scorecard. Sure enough, 2 of them came in and beat us. That's why I hate scrambles. Jay says he's Team Brown with the theater situation. Same happened to him a year or 2 ago. Got there at 4:30 on a weekday. Nobody anywhere. Only automated for tickets. I couldn't buy the 4:30. That's in the mybookie.ag chat room. My story was, and I can tell you the theater, was the Lee Branch, whatever that is now. AMC, is that an AMC?
Ain't run well, by the way.
I go to the window to buy a ticket, and nobody's at the window.
I don't think they sell at the window anymore.
Well, I didn't know that. I mean, this is years ago.
Yeah.
This is years ago.
You should have to go to the concession stand, I'm guessing.
So
is Fandango still a thing?
Ooh, that I don't know.
Fandango. I think you just buy them through the theater app now, don't you?
But I think you can walk. You can still walk up. I guess you can go to the concession stand. And
Yeah, I just go
Yeah.
straight to the concession stand.
Yeah. So I walk in, and there is a huge line at the concession stand. And stop me if you can't believe this, one person manning the concession stand, one singular person. And then you got some other random guy just over sweeping into that little thing they sweep into, right?
Acting like he's busy.
Acting like he's busy. So I'm like, I don't even know what to do here. There's like this mile-long line. Nobody's taking tickets. I'm just going to go on to the movie. So I went on to the movie. And Forever was labeled a cheat. As Tyler, our very own Tyler, my coworker, says, Brown wants the theater industry to go under. That's why I have to see like 5 movies every week.
I don't think you can control that. Like whatever we did, as many free movies as you and I could go to, and Rocky, like Melton, Tyler, and Lunceford would 100% overbalance that the other way.
Yeah, they are absolutely doing their part. Pavlik asked a good question. Has anybody ever seen that back concession stand open? Why did they build those?
It's like it was a good idea at the time.
It seemed like it.
Staff them.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have to be on Christmas Day of Forrest Gump 2 opening up. I don't even know, or some Marvel movie on Christmas.
Yeah.
Like I've never seen it open, ever.
Yeah, like it seemed like a great concept when they first built them. Like, I can dash to get a Coke
But they've got
refill.
it stocked up.
Like, I know, there's always stuff there.
You go to a bar and you see all these bottles of liquor. Well, most of those bottles of liquor have water in them.
That's right. Colored water, color for that liquor, right? Brown or blue or white.
I just wonder if the Milk Duds and the Junior Mints, are those just empty boxes?
It's not even real.
I guess you just have to keep it barren. Like
well, you used to work there.
Yeah.
Tell us the secrets of the trade.
We never had that option. We were the old school. Like we just had the front concession. We had the popcorn machines in the back. We didn't have them in the actual concession stand. We were old school. So I didn't get to have. I was like, I'll make popcorn all day. Myself in a room, I'll do it.
Everybody talks about how comfortable the seating is now at theaters, and it's much better. But I still go back to the Carmike where you worked with the orange seats.
Fuzz.
Those were the most comfortable seats. Did they ever clean them though?
Not when I was there. No.
Yeah. I'm telling you, last movie I went to, I saw If, I think is the name of it. Is that right?
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah. And man, recliners in your own basically private row.
Yeah.
It's fantastic now. I mean, they
flying first class.
Oh
right?
yeah, they have fixed it. Johnston RV Center, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator. That's where you find Johnston IV Center. You could always find them online. Johnston, I think I said IV Center. You do not get an IV there. You get an RV there.
We'll tell you about IVs in a
Yeah,
little bit.
we will in a little bit. JohnstonRVCenter.com is where you find them online. They have repriced both of those lots at Johnston RV Center, and their pricing is so good, they will guarantee you the best price in America on a comparable RV. That is a guarantee. Bring them the price. They will beat it at Johnston RV Center. You also get that lifetime warranty on anything new and qualifying used at Johnston RV Center. I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, johnstonrvcenter.com. Clay Travis is going to join us early today, about half an hour away, and then at 10 o'clock, this morning, just thinking about the show, not in the shower, I don't do it in the shower like Dunaway, this was post-shower, I decided I think I can fix a major flaw in the 12-team college football playoff. We hadn't even played one yet.
What is the flaw?
Well, I'll tell you. At 10 o'clock, I think you would agree.
This is not glass half full, Brown.
No. This is. I want to make the world a better place, Lance.
But you're already picking apart the 12 team, but we haven't even started.
Okay, but when I show you what the playoff bracket would look like based on yesterday's coaches poll, and I want to get your reaction to that too, and a stat I gave at the end of the show that I want you to explain to me.
I've got 2 downs of the 4 are coach poll related.
Okay, so we'll do it around that. When you look at the first coaches poll, I think there is an obvious flaw in the way the college football playoff is conducted. And I've got a very easy fix that I think is equitable for everyone involved. Okay?
I'm willing to listen.
Okay, I'll do that at 10 o'clock.
Because I've got a feeling that the 12 never really fit, at least in my mind. And I don't know how long we're going to have the 12.
Oh, I don't think it'll be long.
I think we go to 16 pretty quickly.
I agree. I think at some point they'll be like, you know how much more money we can make if we played a couple more games? Yeah. The biggest flaw to me, the biggest major flaw is the first 2 rounds not being on campus. I don't even address that here. I think that's an obvious issue, but I do fix what I think is a major flaw in this, and we'll get to that coming up at 10 o'clock. That's my little tease at 10 o'clock. Rockstar, can I hear cut number 6, please? This is Lane Kiffin. In-helmet communication has been a big deal. Hugh Freeze told us in Dallas that they had not even before fall camp had a chance to deal with it. Alabama was like, we think we've got it pretty dialed in. So it's different everywhere. Lane Kiffin, who
I would think for Lane Kiffin with his style
and his NFL background, who they were using it in the NFL when he was the Raiders coach,
and with an experienced quarterback like Jackson Dart, I mean, this, I don't want to say it's going to be seamless.
Right.
you're going to definitely have some hiccups, but I would think that they would absolutely love this.
Well, let's hear from him the impact of the in-helmet communication now in college football. Here's the Ole Miss head coach.
Yeah, I think it's very different. I think that just listening, there is a major impact, but it's probably neutralized because both sides have it. I mean, the player with it, which obviously most of the time would be the quarterback or the middle linebacker, I think, for most people. Whatever that player is, I mean, it truly is like a cheat code. You're getting talked to, you're getting reminded of everything, which run, pass, gap, splits, alignments, what to check to. So it is a game changer, but I don't know that you're going to notice as much because I don't know that it's not kind of neutralized. It makes the ability to play even easier younger. The quarterbacks, in my opinion, can play younger now because systems in general are faster and not as much verbiage and as the old school ways where quarterbacks had to sit around for a couple of years. I think this goes to even another level because you can tell the guy what to do every time.
That was something. One reason I played
the opposite of what I said, guy.
Yeah,
but I guess it helps that much more if you've got an experienced guy.
One reason I played that is Lane got both praise and criticism for this in his time at Alabama, and I'm assuming at Ole Miss he hasn't changed. I don't know why he would change this. But in his time at Alabama, some people criticized his quarterback development because, if you remember, Lane would basically feed them through signals, feed them the audibles from the sideline. And they're like, his quarterbacks never really learn to read and process. All they do is look to Lane. He reads and processes for them. They got praised by fans for that because his quarterbacks are frequently making the right decision and his offense is really good. So it's one of those things like Lane gets paid to win football games. He doesn't necessarily get paid to make a quarterback an NFL quarterback, right? So,
and correct me if I'm wrong, but Lane was out right before the tip of the great Alabama quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah. I mean, he coached Blake Sims, Jake Coker, and I guess Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts for a season, right?
Yeah, those are his 3 years. And I mean, Sims, people forget this.
No, I mean, Coker and Sims were really good college quarterbacks.
I mean, Sims at the end of his season was Alabama's all-time leading single season passer. I mean, he had a record year for Alabama.
But when you had the Tua, Mac, Bryce Young, I mean, that's next level.
Oh, well, heck yeah. Sarkisian was eating at the grown-up table. And then Dable for one game. Dable got one game of Tua Tagovailoa in the national championship. But that was what Lane used to do. So basically he's saying now I could just do that over the headset. Now he can't do it in the last 15 seconds, so that's going to be a challenge. But I don't know. I find that interesting because this was a guy who, at least historically, was already signaling in the audibles to the quarterback, not even make the quarterback do it. So in the helmet communication, like he just said, may level the playing field, but it may make it easier for him. All right, that's the Ole Miss coach. We've got a lot of college football and the NFL to get to. Inverness Country Club bringing you part of the show today.
Hey, our friends at Inverness Country Club want to remind you they've got memberships that will fit absolutely everyone. The social membership, including the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday nights, Sunday brunch, golf membership, of course. Beautiful course, currently expanding the driving range. Maybe you travel for work or pleasure. Ask about the Heritage Plus option where you have access to courses at 37 other clubs around the country. If you relocated to retired, Inverness, great place to network. Child care also a big plus. You and your wife want a day of golf or tennis. Guess what? You can drop the kid, go have yourself a day on the court or course. The best days happen in Inverness. To take a tour of this unbelievable club, call Erin today. Tell her the next round sent you. 205-991-8608, 205-991-8608, or online, iccalabama.com.
See you in the buff says Lane Kiffin strikes me as the type of the fart in the microphone just so the quarterback would hear it. If there was a coach in the SEC to do that, it'd be Lane.
I mean, if you ask the other 15 coaches.
Yeah, they would probably pick Lane on that one, wouldn't they? That's our start. We got much more of the next round coming up. Clay about 20 minutes away on TNR.
Never miss anything Auburn. Watch Village Vice at Wardam Pods on YouTube and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or Michelson. LaserVision.com.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
I'm here with my good friend Jon Lunceford of Lunceford Furniture to tell you about special values on some super comfortable seating. What you got, John?
Lance, every year we stock up on great comfort items like Lazy Boy recliners and sofas so that our customers can be ready for fall and football. This year is no different. We've made special purchases that will deliver great value to Next Round listeners and give them the most comfortable seat in the house. And as always, we've got the best prices in the state on Lazy Boy and the best selection anywhere.
That's awesome. We all know from years of shopping with you guys that Lunceford Furniture is the home for Lazy Boy value.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Forrest on Twitter at NextRoundLive says is a truck driver that has run from Montgomery to Pelham for the last 25 years. From spring break to kids back in school, traffic has gotten worse.
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
Again, know a little bit more than we would, but
we're just very, very short-sighted in our building of the interstate system. I wish we could go back and there are a lot of things I wish we could go back and redo, but that is certainly one of them. If we could just go back and rebuild the interstate system the right way, travel would be so much easier in this country. It was just, and I mean, I know, when did they build the interstate system? The 60s?
Eisenhower.
So, I mean, I guess they probably thought they built it big enough, obviously.
Oh, you didn't think we're going to have, not every single, not 5 people in a house are all going to have a car. It's just going to be one car for a house, so it's not going to be that much traffic. So then it just explodes.
Also, I didn't realize we were going to have 350 million people.
Yeah, that's true.
And everyone has a car. And
I mean,
people refuse to be on a bus. Like, I'm not doing transit. I want to get on my own car.
What do you think the number of cars in America? Do you think it is 75 million?
Oh, no, it's more than that. I think I watched a piece of, this is so weird, but it popped up on my TikTok, a piece of congressional testimony where they were talking about swapping over to electric cars. And I think one of the experts, and this sounds insane, but I think he said there were 220 million cars in America.
Yes, Scott has one. Go for it, Scott.
Says a Google search says that in 2022 there were 283 million registered vehicles in the U.S.
283. We've got 330 million people, don't we?
Jay Leno has like 105,000.
Yeah. Okay, I get that, but we also have I don't know, not a good portion, but a solid percentage that are under 16, right?
I mean, yeah. 330 million people, 200, that many million cars. That is a lot.
And you got families where every member has a car.
Now, EG.
Yeah, approximately 92% of households have at least one vehicle.
See? There you go. Now, when we were about to throw up driving through Shreveport, Louisiana, the worst section of interstates in the world in Shreveport, Louisiana, EG informed me that that's because the federal government withheld money from Louisiana as they were updating the interstate system due to the drinking age. Now, I don't normally, as much as I love EG and she's family, I don't normally go to her for my historical interstate system information.
Well, I got to say the drinking age is the same now in Louisiana. It
it wasn't then. I think it was 18 then, and the government wanted to bump it up to 21. Yeah.
I still think the driving age in Louisiana is 15, I think.
Is it? Boy, I tell you, those interstates in Shreveport.
I think you can get married a little younger in Louisiana.
Boy, it is just Thunderdome down there.
It's just a party down there, man.
Everything's better in Louisiana.
All right, let's start with Auburn. The player, according to Justin Hokanson, Auburn Live, part of On3 Sports, Hoke was writing about this.
Would people be excited if he said Peyton Thorne?
It's not. There are two players, really. There are two players, and we'll hear from one of them in a second. Cut 7, Rockstar, in 1 second. Two players people are talking about. Number one, according to Hoke, is Kalen Lee, one of the defensive backs, but he's talking about J.C. Hart, that he is the fastest player on the team, and he's going to have a breakout season. So the defensive backfield getting a lot of talk. We'll hear from Jalen Lee in a moment. But edge rusher Amaris Williams is the guy that is getting – he's a true freshman. The first few days of fall camp is the guy that is getting all the praise. So some pressure off the edge, which, by the way, was not a massive glaring weakness for Auburn last year because of Eugene Asante.
Yeah, how many true freshman edge guys really make an impact?
Boy, it's not a lot, is it?
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, did a little bit of Oregon. I'm trying to think of some other guys.
Rushing off the edge, though they moved him around some, Harold Perkins, as a true freshman, was a massive impact.
Yep.
But then, they were moving him around some.
Yeah, but of course, if you could have a Perkins-like impact, that's a game changer.
Oh, yeah. Harold Perkins was maybe the best player in the SEC at the end of his freshman season for LSU. But Amaris Williams is the guy that is getting all the praise. You have him and Eugene Asante rushing the passer. I feel like he got to, if he's as good as people think he is.
Well,
in the first
I
two
don't know how
practices.
many Auburn fans knew Eugene was going to be as good as he was
Not
last
to the
year.
Cal game.
Yeah, had that coming out party in the Cal game, and then ends up going out and not even close. Leads the team in tackles by 36 tackles last year.
Yeah, I was going to pull up his.
He had 86 total.
I was going to pull up his sack numbers.
Who, you talking about Eugene?
Yeah, Eugene Asante, 5 sacks, which 10 led the conference last year. Dallas Turner, James Pierce, and then Mississippi State's Nathaniel Watson all had 10. But yeah, he was a stud. So Kalen Lee also getting some discussion. But he's asked here about Auburn's wide receiver room. Here's the Auburn defensive back talking about those Auburn wide receivers.
How much has that position changed from last year to this year, wide receiver?
It's changed a lot. I know I'll be talking to Peyton. He said he feels like he gets a lot more confidence coming into this season. Like, we be talking because our lockers right next to each other, so I talk to him every day after practice. So he tells me, we finna throw it this year. So I'm excited to hear that. Like, he feels way more confident, so that's good.
The receivers are really all the talk, It's easy for me to sit here every day and say the receivers the talk of Auburn camp, but they really are. Since day one, that's all anybody's really wanted to talk about are those receivers.
I don't think anything changes as far as wins and losses unless you get production from that position.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think that's a big secret. And there is a lot of pressure on a lot of young players on this roster.
This was a 4 downs question yesterday, and I think...
Who wrote 4 downs?
I did. And I felt like I had some pretty good 4 downs. I did not like my first one, but I felt like 2, 3, and 4 were really good.
You recovered. Fumbled that first snap.
The first one, I just didn't have a good question, so I asked kind of a bad question.
Did you do it on the fly?
No, I had it, and I thought as the show goes, I'll come up with a better question, and I really didn't. Yeah. So I just went ahead and used my backup question. I couldn't come up with a 4th one. Here are the 3. I'm interested in your thought on them. Well, let me do Urology Centers of Alabama first, and one more Auburn thought on that question. Urology Centers of Alabama, making sure you take care of your urological health. It is so important. You can find them throughout Birmingham, urologycentersalabama.com, Urology Centers Alabama, throughout Central Alabama. Make an appointment now, 205-930-0920. Everything from kidney stones, prostate, all your urological health, Urology Centers of Alabama, urologycentersalabama.com. That's urologycentersalabama.com. I asked, my second down yesterday was more rushing yards this year, Peyton Thorne or Jalen Milroe. And I said, I bet most people would be stunned how close it was last year.
Yeah.
It was only separated by 16 yards. They both played 13 games. Milroe had 16 more rush yards than Peyton Thorne. And, Milroe was hesitant to run some last year. He ran in key times. Do you think it's easy, Milroe? Do you think it's close again this year?
I don't know. If you played a Milroe strength, look, I think he's going to be a much more polished passer this year.
Uh-huh.
But still, when you get him out in space, I mean, he looks at times like the fastest player on the field.
But I think most people were surprised to find that there was only 16 rush yards that separated the two of them in 13 games.
Yeah, I still think it will be Milroe.
Yeah.
Look, and I think Peyton, a lot of times, some of those were busted plays. I think with more confidence in his young receivers. Of course, you're going to have that with Milroe, just more confidence in himself throwing the football.
Yeah. Third down yesterday was Patrick Ewing's birthday. Best player never to win a pro championship.
Are we talking about the NBA?
No, just any pro championship. Best player ever to not have a pro championship. Because he obviously won a college. He won a gold
Barry
medal.
Bonds.
That's what a lot of people say, Barry Bonds. And for some reason, I always think Barry Bonds won that one in San Francisco, but he didn't.
They lost to the Angels.
Yeah. I looked that up yesterday. Ush, after the pennant race, was like the Angels won that series. Look up that Angels team. That was a bunch of nobodies. And it really was. Yeah. I don't know how they beat San Francisco.
Tim
beat
Salmon, right?
I think he was on there.
Troy Glaus.
Troy Glaus was on there.
Yeah.
Eckstein was the
was so annoying if you weren't an Angels fan.
But, I mean, you looked at it. It was a very, very average-looking roster.
Yeah. Was Barkley in the mix?
Barkley got a lot of votes. I thought Rockstar would say Barry Sanders. Rockstar said.
Well, you said best athlete.
I did.
I said Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson, which I think is an excellent answer. AI is terrific. I self-owned it, said Marino. I think Marino is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Never won a championship. So, fourth down. Yesterday was both of these, unfortunately, have passed on. Would have been Neil Armstrong's birthday and Herb Brooks' birthday. And I asked, greater American moment, landing on the moon or beating the Russians in the gold?
I would say beating the Russians in the gold. Now, the race to space was a true thing back in the day.
It was against the Russians. I mean, both those were victories against the Russians. Now, technically, you didn't win the gold if you're the United States. You had to win one more, but still, that was the game everybody talked about.
Well, there's still people out there that believe we never landed on the moon. We did beat the Russians in hockey.
We did, 100%. That's what
I know it was tape delayed, but we did beat them.
That's what Mick said. Mick was like, there are people that believe we didn't land on the moon. Nobody believes that game didn't actually get played.
Yeah.
I was like, now, you might could convince me the Russians threw it. But the game actually got played. I mean, nobody's denying the game was played.
I don't know if they threw it. Did we ever get a head count, like a welfare check on that roster of the Russians after they lost?
Oh, yeah, that's true. I don't know what happened when they went back to the Soviet. You think some of them might have accidentally fallen out of a building?
Wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you watch the Americans, torture's, that's just everyday cup of tea, right?
That's right. They do not mind if you have gone against the motherland of putting you under there. Forrester said Bo for best athlete never to win a pro, but that's athlete, obviously. He was
because Deion did win championship.
Yep, he did on both sides, right? He won a baseball and a football.
Did he win a baseball?
Yeah, he won one with the Braves. Remember when he was dumping the water on Tim McCarver in the post game? So that's Auburn camp. Alabama camp. The rosters came out yesterday. Just a couple. I'm just going to throw out a couple of weight changes according to our guy Clint Lamb. Ryan Williams, receiver. When you look at Ryan Williams, the first thing that jumps out at you is what?
Jaden Daniels.
The kid is skinny, right?
Skinny.
On the roster weight, he's added 10 pounds already. Okay. He's up to 175, added 10 pounds. Scott's showing you video very quickly of Ryan Williams. I mean, he's a skinny dude.
The greatest, say what you want about, just a layer of incredible talented receivers over the last decade plus, but the greatest receiver in Alabama history is Devontae Smith.
That's right. He was skinny.
And he's,
what's his playing, 180?
I think probably now, but I don't even think he was probably almost the exact same size when he was a freshman.
Yeah.
Now, those arms,
and that was what Devontae Smith was.
There's a pole vaulter for another country that's got junks bigger than his arm.
Did you see that?
Poor guy.
Did y'all talk about that yesterday?
We did not, but the video is incredible.
Unbelievable.
The video is absolutely incredible.
Unbelievable. Did it really cost him a gold?
I think so. If not, it's an amazing story. You may as well just say it.
That's impossible, right? If you're junk to catch the top bar.
I know. You got to get over that bar.
What happened? Why didn't you win? Well,
I got a
But
story.
anyway,
for you.
very, very skinny, but immediately, just the weights will put that on.
Kendrick Law has added 8 pounds. He's going to play at 209. Jim Miller at running back.
By the way, I didn't know that Kendrick Law needed to add any weight at all.
Yeah, he's thick, isn't he? Yeah, but he's going to play at 209, or at least he's at 209 right now. Jim Miller has added 7 pounds. He'll play at 218. Justice Haynes, another back, 5 pounds. He'll play at 210. Jeremy Bernard has added 6 pounds. He'll play at 209. Robbie Oots, the tight end, is at 270. He's added 5 pounds.
Wow.
On your offensive front, the one thing about Parker Brailsford, he's a good center, but everybody worries about he's undersized. He's at 290 right now. He's added 15 pounds in the offseason. So he's up to 290. That's still a bit weight-wise undersized, but I think I saw Kapilovic, the offensive line coach, interviewed over the weekend, and he said he might be undersized, but I guarantee you he's one of the top 5 strongest guys on the team.
Oh, he's a dog.
Yeah, his ability
That's what everybody
lift.
talked about last year is just, how physical Brailsford is. Somebody in the mybookie.ag chat said Devontae Smith came in at 145. I don't know if that's possible.
That's true. I think his playing in the NFL, is he not playing at 189? Am I wrong
Hervé
about that?
Villachez was more than 145 when he put a bullet in his chest, wasn't he?
Wow. Caden Proctor, 369. He's up 9 pounds since spring.
I don't know if Caden needed to gain any, man.
He did, though. On the defensive side.
Of course, one bad night, Caden can lose 15, can't he?
Yeah. I bet he could gain 15 or lose 15 on any night he wanted. On the defensive side, Jod Campbell up 14 pounds to 244 at linebacker there.
The only thing, man, I liked how Campbell moved last year, and you just wonder. Back in the day, Nick Saban's linebackers were massive, and they could still run, but, that changed over time.
Deontay Lawson up 9 pounds to 239, so they're adding weight to their linebackers, obviously.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Up front, Tim Keenan up 11 pounds to 326. Tim Smith up 12 pounds to 314.
I hope this is good weight. Like, if they're bragging on it, I wouldn't think that they just, Well,
Jaheim Otis, what was he? He came in at 420-something?
Yeah.
He's back up 5 pounds, but he's at 325, Jaheim Otis, at 325. So I think that's still down almost 100 pounds.
That's a great weight for him.
Yeah, from where he started. So Clint Lamb has all of those at Clint R. Lamb if you want to go look at those. Those are just media guide weights, roster weights. Obviously, those are going to fluctuate, but you got to think the weight they put on the roster was kind of their target weight.
I do think that's interesting, though, man. You see a lot of guys coming into NFL camp that get fined based on weight.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we want you now. Maybe that's Kalen DeBoer. Maybe he wants a bigger, bulkier team.
Clay is coming up next. CPAP Plus bringing you part of the show today.
Hey, look, don't buy your mask and supplies from Amazon or online. Go see the folks at CPAP Plus. See what you're actually buying. Our man Ush from the Pennant Grace, you heard him, or at least me relay his testimonial that he was having a problem with insurance. Guess what? The guys at CPAP Plus, they picked up the phone. They got it all worked out, from his doctor to the insurance carrier. They all worked it out. Visit any of their 3 convenient locations. Pelham, Highway 280, now open and Trustful. Get a free CPAP checkup, free filters, no appointments needed. They carry the best equipment from names like ResMed, React, Fisher Paykel, with masks and supplies in stock every single day. If you need it today, guess what? They've got it today. They also have they have travel CPAP machines in stock. You can even rent one to see how you like it. The rental fee can be applied to your purchase of travel CPAP. With over 200 5-star reviews on Google, the folks at CPAP Plus are CPAP users themselves, so the people helping you know what it's like and are ready to help. Stop into one of those 3 locations today, or again, just Google CPAP Plus.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older, must be present to win.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Well, we're changing the game yet again. Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the next round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with the TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
All right, Clay Travis, founder of Outkick, joins us now. He's a little bit early today because of his schedule. He's on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Welcome in, Clay. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are y'all?
Fantastic. We were just discussing this on yesterday's show because Ross Bjork, the new athletics director at Ohio State, basically said, we have sold everything we can sell except for naming rights of Ohio Stadium and patches on the jersey, and those things have to be on the table. And my point was, when Ohio State is saying that, they make as much money as anybody, so this is coming to football. Well, on the heels of that, Pete Thamel is currently reporting that FIU has sold the naming rights of their football stadium to Pitbull.
It's incredible.
$1.2 million a year, Pitbull Stadium.
How much?
$1.2 million per year, Pitbull Stadium.
I mean, that makes me think I should buy naming rights somewhere. Can you imagine the reaction if I took over Bryant Denny?
Boy, that's going to cost, Clay.
Yeah, that ain't going to be a cheap one.
I don't know if you got that.
Yeah. Pitbull Stadium is, by the way, amazing. $1.2 million. Look, I inevitably where this is all leading, and that is a very, very funny story. Where this is all leading beyond a shadow of a doubt is to professionalization officially and salary caps. Because when you tell me that Ohio State is basically like, we're all tapped out, that's not a program that is lacking in fan support or monetary aspect. When they're saying they're all tapped out and you have perpetual free agency, and as you guys know, the crazy thing isn't just that you have to pay for these guys to come to your school in the first place. It's that if they do well after a year, they want way more money. You know, it's not like you're locking in a multi-year deal. And I think I've said on your show before, but I think it's instructive. There is no value to finding diamonds in the rough in college football right now, because as soon as you do, someone else comes in and pays them way more, and you only get a year of their play. So think about it. when the St. Louis Rams, sorry, LT, when the LA Rams go and draft Puka, what was he, a 5th-round pick, LT?
Yep.
They get him locked into a 5th-round contract for 4 years. So their benefit of finding a diamond in the rough is they get him for much less than he would be worth on the open market for 4 years. London Humphrey, look him up. I think I've used this analogy before, but I think it's a really good one. 3-star wide receiver that Vanderbilt recruited. He came in, I don't know his stats off the top of my head, probably had 500 yards receiving, put up over 100 on Kirby Smart as a true freshman. Kirby looked at him and said, damn, I want that guy as my receiver. Just bought him from Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got no compensation. In a pro sports context, that wouldn't be possible. You'd have to give the team that found the diamond in the rough, the low-value asset that ended up panning out, substantial compensation for it. Right now, we have created a world where even the rich guys don't have enough money, and the poor guys have no incentive to actually do well. In fact, what you actually need is guys that are just mediocre enough not to be able to leave that you get to develop for multiple years. So, to me, they're going to have to put in a salary cap. They're going to have to restrict transfers. They're going to have to put in contract rights. The easy solution to me is when you sign with a school, you commit to them for 3 years, for better or worse, and on both sides, mutual obligation. And in the 4th year, if you want to have a year of free agency in college or you want to go pro, you have that. That's the solution. That's the stair step that I think ultimately is going to have to end up as the resolution. But where we are right now is an untenable situation. And the analogy I've made is it's like when the Berlin Wall came down and suddenly, you could buy like nuclear weapons and tanks and kidneys in formerly communist countries. The unabashed capitalism that took over was not the best way for the countries to move forward. So I think we're in the unabashed Wild West style of capitalism. I think ultimately you will see college football begin to resemble pro sports, which has been through all this before. That means salary cap, that means contract rights, all of those aspects, and a professionalization of college football.
I don't even know, Clay, if you would have an idea how to get in the neighborhood of this number. But right now, the cap number is currently $255 million in the NFL.
Yeah.
And so roughly a little over $5 million per player if we're looking at a 53-man roster. What do you think that number would be right now in college football?
Well, I think it depends on whether you're talking Big Ten, SEC, like high-level college football, or whether you're talking...
So do you think you separate it by conference? I mean, I don't know how you can do that.
I think the 4 major conferences will pull away and Notre Dame and create their own division. And I think those conference commissioners, Clay, will agree upon a salary cap, much like the NFL.
Yeah, and I think you're right, and I think there will be a salary cap. What should it be is a great question, and I think there'll be a lot of debate about that. I think it will be... the way they peg the NFL salary cap is the players get 50% roughly, I believe, of total revenues, and everybody agrees to share the full pool of what the revenues are, right? And so that's kind of the way that it's all set up. I would think that the SEC would have to sit down and say, okay, full revenue for the SEC across all teams and across the conference and everything else is X dollars. And we believe the players should be entitled to X percentage. But that requires them being employees so you can get the collective bargaining exemption. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through to get to that process. And ultimately, I think what's going to happen is the major college football programs are going to be spun off as for-profit businesses. And I think that is inevitable. And I would suggest that the conference itself as a whole should be the asset as opposed to individual teams. And I've even kicked around the idea. I mean, can you imagine? Look at the Green Bay Packers. Everybody loves to brag about being a shareholder of the Green Bay Packers, right? Even though, by and large, they get nothing of any substantive value from that. What if you could buy stock in the Southeastern Conference?
That'd be amazing.
How many fans out there would love to own a percentage? I mean, I'll raise my hand. I would love to own a percentage of the SEC or the Big Ten. I think that's kind of where we're going. I think that would raise, honestly, I'm not even kidding, billions of dollars. I think you could even auction
Clay,
that
let me stop you, though. If you're an owner, could you still legally wager on your team?
Interesting. What can...
Well, I mean, Do you think the state legislatures are not going to bend over backwards to do whatever they can to help the local football program and gambling revenue? Although, heck, down in your state of Alabama, it might be 2020, 50 or 2250 before you guys can legally wager.
But Clay Travis is with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline for a few more moments. By the way, speaking of Pitbull Stadium now at FIU, Greg Sankey shared with us that his takeaway from meeting Pitbull at the Texas celebration when they came to the SEC is that he is a pleasant-smelling individual, that he's got a very good smell about him.
I mean, is Pitbull a monster college football fan? I mean, I wouldn't
have no idea.
him as a guy who's sitting around watching games all day Saturday. I mean, but maybe he is, and maybe he just recognizes the value associated. I mean, it's honestly kind of genius because I don't know what that guy makes in a year. I would bet $40-50 million, and it's a business expense. It's a donation, charitable donation that he can write off. So. I mean, it honestly genius for him because it probably cost him, I don't know what, $600K out of pocket, something like that, if that, depending on how his production companies and everything else is structured. And he's probably going to get $100 million worth of publicity. Every college football fan in America is going to know about Pitbull Stadium. I mean, I honestly am not kidding when I say that I think it's genius.
Clay, before we let you roll, the pole vaulter, who did he actually lose gold by his junk taking the bar down?
I don't know. I'm not an expert. It's probably not going to shock you on the pole vault power rankings in the Olympic Games. So I'm not sure how exactly he was expected to do. I say that. I actually think the guy who won is from LSU, but somehow competes for Sweden.
I saw that. That's apparently controversial among some there. He went to LSU, but he's got Swedish citizenship. Yeah, grew up in Louisiana, but I think one of his parents, I think it's one of those deals where if your parents have, one of them has Swedish citizenship, you also get it. So
I mean, I guess that's okay, but I mean, if you're an American, that seems kind of like a jerk move to turn your back on your country and represent Sweden.
Especially
and
if you're good. Yeah, you're good. I mean, like he's gold medal level.
I understand it. I understand it when you're like, hey, I would never make the U.S. team, so I'm going to go represent somebody else because I want to go to the Olympics and I have a loophole that allows me to do it. Like, I understand that decision. That seems weird. I think that's the greatest way to lose an Olympic medal of all time. I mean, my gigantic penis knocked the pole off. One pole knocked another pole off.
He hardly needed the pole.
I put up a pole. Yeah, maybe he doesn't even need the pole.
I mean, what kind of endorsement deals can he get?
OnlyFans?
I mean, I got offered $250K for porn. So I think that's probably a lot for a pole vaulting endorsement.
Johnsonville Broads, he could endorse those, right?
That would actually be amazing. I mean, this is. I put up a poll. Did you see my poll question?
I did, yes. How did it turn out?
35,000 people voted. And by the way, my phone blew up. Everybody loved this poll idea. I was, out with buddies and I was thinking about it. Like, would you rather win a pole vaulting gold medal or have everyone know that you have a gigantic penis? Gigantic penis won 65% to 35%. So,
well, I mean, the thing you can look at is how flukish it was that he lost. Yeah. And he's still got, like, he's going to be much more, like, if he would have cleared it, let's just say
nobody knows who he is.
Yeah, nobody's ever going to remember this, but he is going to be immortalized now.
Yeah, I would have easily made that choice. And this is why I gave up pole vaulting. I knew early on that my gigantic penis was too much of a deterrent. So I was like, guys, I got to step out. I got to find something else to do. I'm going to talk on the radio for a little.
Yep. He is Clay Travis, founder of Outkick. Clay, thank you very much. Have a great week.
All right. Appreciate you all. Thanks a lot.
All right. Clay with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. You are not lost and your clock is not wrong. Clay is a little bit early with us this week. Greg from Pell City is the guy that get up on your roof and take care of that roof for you. Storm Restoration Roofing is the name of the company. Does not have to be storm damage, though. I mean, if you just need a new roof, you need them periodically, Greg can help you with that. The number to call for Greg to get up and do that free evaluation, no cost to you, 205-542-3531. That's old Greg's cell phone. Just shoot him a text, give him a call, 205-542-3531. He'll get up on that roof, give you an honest evaluation, and take care of you. Storm Restoration Roofing, Greg Nelson, 205-542-3531. I'm with Clay on the guy from LSU that has dual citizenship. Like, I don't really have a problem with that if you don't think there's any way you can make the American team. But this guy's obviously really good. It was kind of a weird decision. Like he won the gold.
Yeah, but like how tied in is he to Sweden?
I would think very little. He was born and raised in the state of Louisiana, but there was obviously an easier path to make the Swedish national team than the U.S. team. I get that.
I'm just going to guess that Sweden paid him a lot more.
I would guess so.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know how Sweden's doing in the medal count right now. I would think that they're not racking up golds left and right.
Yeah, he's probably one of the few golds. Can he parlay that in Sweden, even though he lives in Louisiana? I don't know the answer.
Maybe
to
that's just maybe the Swedes wanted more golds.
Yeah.
Like any kind of gold we can get, we're going to grab, and we'll monetize whoever can do it for us.
Yeah. Okay, so Chris, who's an LSU guy, says the U.S. team wouldn't let his dad be the coach for the Olympics.
That is so un-American.
I mean, if the guy's that good, yeah, my dad could be the coach.
Yeah.
Right? He's a freaking gold medalist.
I mean, we hired Milt Wagner.
Yes.
Just where his kid could play, right?
Yeah.
Allen Houston.
I mean,
Wade Houston.
Wade Houston was an awful coach.
Awful coach.
Yeah. Only to get Allen. All right, we appreciate Clay joining us a little bit early. When we come back, Lance about to tell you about Michelson. I am going to fix the college football playoff before it even starts. You're welcome. You're welcome. Michelson Laser.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number that I called more than 2 decades ago. Look, if you're wearing the contacts or the glasses, you're wasting money each and every year. I'm speaking from experience. Make the phone call today. Stop procrastinating. It's absolutely free to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with the hassle-free consultation, 0 to lose, to find out if LASIK is right for you. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Call today, 205-969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
We won't even see it for the first time until December, but I'm going to fix it before it starts. That's next with the college football playoff.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemp Hill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemp Hill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
The first college football tailgate party of the season is set. Bowling and Bragging will be Saturday, August 17th at 6 p.m. in Crestline Village in Mountain Brook, benefiting the Critical Care Transport Program at Children's of Alabama. For more information, visit boilingandbragging.org.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We start hour number 2 of the next round. Coming up in this segment, how many teams favored in at least 10 games this year from the Power 5? Lance gives you a surprising number on the heels of a stat from the Southeastern Conference today after the coaches poll was released. By the way, at the end of the show yesterday, this was, and it's going to take me too long to dig back, so I apologize, but I gave credit for who sent it out yesterday. It was one of the books in Vegas, or one of the betting services in Vegas. They operate in states other than Las Vegas as well. That by far and away, according to ticket count, so when they say ticket count, Lance, for those that don't understand all this, that's number of bets, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not total money, but
yeah, because a
number.
lot of people, and I look at it differently, number of bets and then percentage of money.
Yeah.
So you can have, let's just say, an Iron Bowl. You could have 70% of the tickets on Alabama, but 80% of the money actually could be on Auburn.
Yeah, so
because you've got heavy players. You know, if a guy's betting $100,000, you got a bunch of $100 players.
Yeah, this may not be money, but by ticket count, double the amount of any other bet to win their conference. Okay, so just on bets to win conference championship, and it is a Power 5 team. E.G. and Mick Gillespie could not guess it. This team has double the ticket count at this one place. Do you know which team it is? It's a Power 5 team. Power 4 team, I'm sorry.
So the way you're asking the question, it is not going to be obvious?
I didn't think it was.
I'll randomly say Texas.
It's Oklahoma State.
Okay.
Which is surprising, as I told them, because I view the Big 12 as pretty wide open.
Yeah, and by the way, the number is going to, for people that follow this, the number of Power 4 teams that actually could be favored in 10-plus games in the regular season, I think this number is going to floor some people. I'll just tell you this, Oklahoma State's not one of them.
I mean, that's why it's surprising. Like, two things. Number one, I don't trust Mike Gundy to win a conference championship.
Well, the problem with Mike Gundy is he's going to lose a game he shouldn't lose.
That's why I don't trust him. And then I have seen him with a national or conference championship on the line against Baylor, and he couldn't get the ball in the end zone from the one. Like, I don't trust the guy. That's number one. Number two, I think the Big 12's wide open. Like, I think Utah could win it. I do think Oak State could win it. I think Kansas State, I would probably make them the favorite in my eyes, Kansas State. I think Kansas could win it, though, as I pointed out to E.G. and Mick. They don't get a home game, Kansas doesn't, because of their stadium construction. They're playing home games in Kansas City.
Yeah, and by the way, let me pull it back. Oak State could be favored in 10.
Yeah.
They could only be favored in 8, though.
I was just surprised by that it's that heavy. Like, if you told me they're the betting favorite in the Big 12, I'm like, okay, that may, I could get it. But the fact that they're by far and away the betting favorite of any other team to win their conference, more than Ohio State, more than Georgia, more than Clemson or Florida or whoever, it just blew me away.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense to me. But it's the way it is, which probably tells you that's a bad thing for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, because I agree with you. I think there are 4 teams that can win this conference. We were talking to Brett McMurphy.
Yeah.
And he believes that half of the field, like 7 to 8 teams of the 16 could win the Big 12. I don't see that.
But it seems more wide open to me than the other conferences.
I think Oklahoma State is definitely in that mix.
Yeah.
But, boy, to clear and away be the favorite to win that conference doesn't make any sense.
All right, before I fix the college football playoff before it even starts, let me tell you about A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling. That is my guy, Brad Bell. He has done the master bath in my house after my wife scoured the internet looking for the best person for the job. She picked Brad Bell. He did such good work. Lance was like, man, I need my master bath redone. He did Lance's master bath and his kitchen. A-Plus Tile Home Remodeling, 205-422-1758. That is their number, 205-422-1758. That's Brad Sell. He can help you anywhere in the state of Alabama. He specializes, though he'll do everything in your house, he specializes in master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's important because you get to enjoy those rooms a lot while you own the home. And you make your money back when they go to sell your home. Master bath, kitchen, master bedroom, closets, that's his specialty. So if any of those places are outdated and you're ready to fix them, Brad Bell will do it for you. 205-422-1758. Even financing options. If you don't maybe have all the money up front, the Brad can help you there too. 205-422-1758. Brad Bell, A-plus Tile Home Remodeling. Okay. There are two things about the college football playoff, 12-team playoff, that I do not like. Number one, I don't like that the first two rounds are not on campus. I don't like that in round 2 we're already going to bowl games. I think that's a mistake.
I agree.
I think they will fix that mistake. The second one is something that has bothered me, but I had not thought of a solution until today. Let's first start. Scott,
tell me what the problem is, real quick.
Let me first show you what, if you just took the coaches poll yesterday and you seeded it 1 through 11 and then added in a group of 5, which there was not a group of 5 team ranked, so you'll see who I put in.
Which is not surprising.
Yeah, but if you do that yesterday, here's what your college football playoff would look like. Scott, we'll pull that up and show you what your college football playoff would look like. So if you just start with Georgia at number 1, keep in mind as you look at this, conference champions get the top 4 seeds. So you got Georgia seeded first, Ohio State second, Florida State third, Utah fourth. Your 5-12 game is Oregon against Jacksonville State. There was no group of 5, so I made the call to put Jacksonville State in there. Your 6-11 in Austin is Texas Penn State. Your 7-10 is Alabama Michigan. And your 8-9 game in Oxford is Ole Miss Notre Dame. That's the way it would look, Lance, if you just took yesterday's coaches poll and you seeded it out. I'm not going to lie. Fun playoff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, here's what bothers
What is your favorite on-campus game?
I mean, Alabama, Michigan, and Texas Penn State, it is hard to beat those two helmets on the same
Ole Miss
field.
Notre Dame.
Ole Miss Notre Dame be a tremendous game. I'm just saying helmet games, those are pretty good.
How's Jack State travel, especially to the West Coast like that?
Well, I mean, I think the Jack State fans would probably hold back for the Sugar Bowl. I think they'd probably say, let's don't spend to go to Oregon.
So maybe 1,000 strong?
Yeah, but let's wait and really spend our money in New Orleans to the Sugar Bowl after we beat Oregon. I think
If this plays out, will you go old school Oregon Trail and drive a Johnston RV?
If Jacksonville State, let's clean read here.
Yeah, I want to make sure. If they're going to Eugene.
I don't want to produce the show on the fly, Scott. Put me on camera so we can bring this back.
And you know what? I will ride shotgun with you, whatever you're going to say.
All right, clean read here. If Jacksonville State plays at Oregon in the college football playoff, I will drive a Johnston RV from Birmingham, Alabama to Eugene, Oregon for the game. And Lance will ride shotgun.
Yeah, but we've got to map it out Oregon Trail-wise, right?
Where did the Oregon Trail begin? Rockstar, can you Google that, please? The Oregon Trail, it began where?
I think it was in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I think it was a rough go, too.
Yeah. So, but, we got to start in Birmingham, but we only get to the place where it started, and it's Oregon Trail from that point on.
Yeah.
Independence, Missouri, also Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just drive to KC, and then we'll...
The trail ends in Oregon City, Oregon.
Oregon City. All right, so
do you have number of people that left and number of people that made it?
Well, when I played the video game, it was 4.
You became a new family, I know that.
Yes.
I never played that video, by the way.
You never played the Oregon Trail? I loved that game.
I heard it was incredible. We just, Homewood didn't have it on the old floppy disk.
So, you would go to the computer lab, and that was the best game you could play in the computer lab. All right, so Eugene, Oregon. From Independence, Missouri. I'm just going to get a little mileage here.
Oh, I would say that is going to be every bit of 800 miles. No, 1,000 miles.
Boy, it is still calculating. Yeah. Like Apple Maps is like, hang on, man, we do not know.
But I will say
2,170 miles.
Okay, a lot further than I thought. But, boy, doing it in a Johnston RV compared to a horse,
that's going to be a bit different. So 2,170 miles, you tell me, Rockstar? Is that what you said?
2,170 miles. I got a map.
How many miles can I drive in a day? So if we average 70 miles an hour times 10 hours a day, that's 700. It's 3 days of driving right there, Lance.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a haul.
Yeah.
I feel really confident that we're not going to have to work this thing out.
Now, it's only if they play Oregon, right? Like if they play USC, Jack State at USC, I don't have to drive.
I mean, we can reevaluate the situation. Mm-hmm. There it is.
All right, so I'm going to go through Omaha. This is the actual Oregon Trail, but it's an interstate now. Omaha, Casper, Wyoming. What are those dotted lines right there in Idaho? Is that like optionals?
I guess across the river.
That's where Waves is telling us to go right now.
I got to caulk my wagon and cross the river?
Here's another thing that I have to tell you is going to be a massive problem when we're mapping this thing out.
What is that?
the time of year. Look at where we're traveling.
Oh, I know. Yeah, there'll be snow. This is December.
There's going to be ice. There's going to be blizzards.
Like, I have been in Nebraska when it snows. Not fun. Yeah. I'll go ahead and tell you. Not fun at all.
Well, you know what? It gets worse every state you hit until Oregon.
Progressively. Yeah, this is a disaster. So that tells me Jacksonville State is 100% going to Oregon after we've had this discussion. So there you go. Congrats, Gamecocks, on making the playoffs in the first college football playoffs.
Okay.
And good luck in your trip to Oregon.
So explain, though.
So I'm going to die. It's a Rockstar. God almighty. Scott has us dying of dysentery. That was the worst part about Oregon Trail when he died of dysentery.
You got to hunt for food. You got to hunt buffalo with that little pistol.
I know. But you could kill a squirrel anytime you wanted to.
What was the shelf life for you if you got dysentery?
Oh, you were done. You were done.
But you just wake up. You go to bed one night, and then you wake up, and like you lost 2 people to dysentery.
That's right. Yeah, so I don't want to die of dysentery, but I fully project to make the playoffs.
Speaking of bad ways to die in the Wild West, I made the boys watch Bone Tomahawk with me the other night.
Never heard of
it. It's a Netflix Western with
like
Kurt Russell.
Steak I would order.
Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox. I'm trying to remember who else was in it. It was the most violent. Like the movie starts with somebody getting their trachea cut out.
Good pacing.
Yeah.
That's the opening scene.
Yeah. They split these Native Americans, indigenous, they're cannibals.
Yeah.
They split a dude in half.
Gosh.
Does that sound like something you'd want to watch?
Yeah. Did you eat dinner before that?
We ate before Bone Tomahawk. Yeah.
So the other obvious flaw to me in the college football playoff, and Scott, if you'll put up the way the playoff would look, here's my issue with what the playoff looks like based on yesterday's poll. This is what it would be based on yesterday's poll. And I just believe this could be an issue moving forward. Florida State yesterday was ranked 10th and Utah was ranked 13th.
Right.
And we're giving them first-round byes. I don't think that's right. So, but I do think you should be rewarded for winning your conference. Okay?
Yeah,
I think there should be some reward for winning your conference.
We know this. I mean, everybody tries to copy the top models, and the top model is the NFL.
That's
and
right.
The college game gets closer and closer and closer. Just because you win a division, you get to host a home game, but you don't get a bye.
You're on to me now, Lance. Scott, show them my suggestion. It doesn't change much, but what it changes is the top 4 teams get the top 4 seeds. Utah and Florida State get the 5 and 6 seed. They're the first ones out. They get a home game. You're guaranteed a home game for winning your conference, but you do not get a first-round bye. I personally believe that is the most equitable way to do this. I think it's the smartest way to do this. Your best 4 teams are your top 4 seeds.
Yeah,
so I fixed it before they even played a game.
Yeah.
And really, what have you lost there?
Nothing.
I mean, if you're Florida State and you're 10th, do you think you deserve a bye? If you're Utah and you're 13th, do you deserve a bye? I don't think you do. I think you deserve a home game because you won your conference, but not all conferences are created equal. Like, I think Georgia and Ohio State have won more difficult conferences than Utah and Florida State have. As good as the Big 12 will be this year, and I think the ACC is going to have one of their better years, but I still think the Big 10 and the SEC are better. And by the way, the year the ACC is better and Florida State wins it and they're in the top 4 as they would have been last year had Travis not gotten hurt, they would have gotten a first-round bye.
I really don't know anybody that would have argued this.
I think it's very sensible.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure the Big 12 would like for one of their teams to get a bye, but when you really look at it.
They can. They just need to be in the top 4. Be good enough to be in the top 4. If Utah is undefeated and the Big 12 champion, they'll probably be in the top 4.
They'll be in the top 4.
That's
I mean,
right.
Where they're starting right now, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is just a sensible fix to the college football playoff that we could do. I don't guess we could do it right now because they've already voted on a format. But I think moving forward, that's an easy fix that makes it a better playoff.
Well, I mean, I still think you could rearrange this thing.
I guess you could. It would take a vote of the commissioners.
I mean, we haven't printed tickets.
Hadn't even played a game yet. I mean, don't go.
Let's go back 4 years ago to this date. Did we think we were playing college football? I don't remember when the announcement came down. I just remember being poolside hearing that the Big Ten did not want to play college football.
Yeah, that's a bad day.
And we thought that could lean one way or another. But I think it was still all up in the air in August, was it not?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
So I'm just saying, if you hadn't even really put, like, schedules were just coming together, I think you could rearrange this quickly.
Yeah, I agree completely. So that's just a small fix. Now, I would like to have 2 rounds of on-campus games. We can do that later. But I think the small fix of – if you win your conference, but you're not in the top 4, you don't get a first-round bye. You do get a guaranteed home game, just like in the NFL. Like, all divisions aren't created equal in the NFL, right? You, as a Rams fan, would far rather be playing in the NFC South this year.
Oh, yeah.
Than the NFC West.
Yeah.
I, as a Dolphins fan, would probably rather be
in the AFC South.
In the AFC South. Why is it always the South? But winning my division should get me a home game. I don't disagree with that. It's just the way it's set up.
But we've seen division winners at 8-8 back in the
That's
day.
right. And you know what? A better team comes to their place and beats them often. Because that's just the way the system works.
Or even if they earn that first round win, they typically are bounced in the second round.
But the best teams are given the bye. It used to be 2 byes. Now it's just 1. But that was obviously the best team. So I think that is the best way of doing it. All right. Lance is going to give us
By the way,
set.
I get excited looking at these brackets already.
Oh, I do too. I love it. I mean, just even.
I don't want to wish away the football season.
I don't either. But even the system that I think is flawed gave us amazing first-round games.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Penn State, Texas, Alabama, Michigan, and Ole Miss, Notre Dame, and Jack State on the Oregon Trail.
Like it.
Yeah, I'll take it. All right, Hemp Hill Services brings you the lock every day. I'm going to give you a stat, and Lance is going to give you a follow-up to that stat.
Yeah, we're going to be
It's
doing
pretty
a
amazing.
podcast later at some point today, tonight, about teams in the Power 4 that will be favored in 10-plus games. That's Win at Lance's Lock, new YouTube channel. Of course, lanceslock.com, coming off a 2-1 last night. 3 plays available today in Major League Baseball. Always brought to you by our friends. Hemp Hill Services, 205-229-2090. Whether you experience plumbing, heating, or cooling issues in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of these issues. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
So Lance is going to give you the number of teams he thinks will be favored in 10 or more games, which is pretty crazy to think about. From Chuck Dunlap, our buddy with the Southeastern Conference. Chuck works for the SEC. He tweets this earlier today on the heels of the coaches poll being released. The Southeastern Conference is the only conference in which every single member will have at least one opponent ranked in the top 10 in the preseason coaches poll. So everybody in the SEC has on their schedule right now a top 10
So
game.
all of these coaches that have been bad or good against top 10s, you get
That's
another
right.
opportunity.
You get another opportunity. I'll take it one step further. Cody Kellner. Let me see who Cody is. He's a football statistician and a PhD researcher. Smart guy, apparently. 7 teams in the nation have at least 5 opponents ranked in the top 15 of the preseason poll. All 7 are in the SEC. Florida has 6 of them, and Oklahoma has 6 of them. The others are Arkansas, Georgia, much more difficult schedule for Georgia than normal, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Vandy. My takeaway from that is a lot of the bottom of the SEC is having to play a lot of the top of the SEC.
Yeah, and that's not good.
Vandy, South Carolina State, Arkansas, Florida, and Oklahoma are kind of in the middle, and then Georgia's at the top. So 7 teams in the nation that have at least 5 opponents ranked in the top 15 preseason. All 7 are in the SEC.
Yeah, but Georgia's got 3 top 6 teams that they're playing.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not a
on
Georgia
the road,
schedule.
By the way. On the road.
On the road.
Yeah.
At Alabama, at Texas, at Ole Miss.
Yeah, this is not a normal Georgia schedule. Their East schedule
But
is far
they
more
are
beneficial.
still going to be one of these teams that will be favored in 10-plus games.
So how many Power 5 teams?
Okay, there are 67 Power 4 teams.
Power 4, excuse me. I'll get that right at some point in my life.
It is going to take a little work here. Of the 67, what do you think? Now, this is not in stone. This is just me going through every single schedule and figuring out how many could be favored in 10-plus.
I mean...
And there are some that are clear-cut.
You gave me the answer earlier, but of 67, I would have guessed 10.
20 is the number.
20 is incredible. I would have missed by half.
I'll just run through them real quick, and I'll tell you ones that are 100%. So Florida State is going to be 100% 10 or more. Now, they're at Miami, at Notre Dame. I think they're probably dogs in that. Clemson, they're definitely a dog versus Clemson and at Florida State. Or, excuse me, definitely a dog versus Georgia and at Florida State.
Yep.
Possibly at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
So they're not definite. Miami, I think only at Louisville. Miami's going to be favored in 10-plus games.
Isn't that incredible?
Yeah. I think SMU is going to be favored in 10-plus. I think they're going to be dogs against Florida State, dogs at Louisville.
Wow.
Virginia Tech could be favored in 10-plus. Dog at Miami, dog against Clemson. Big Ten, there's only 3 teams.
3 teams favored in 10 games.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Oregon, and Iowa?
Yeah, 4 teams, actually.
4 teams? Okay.
Yeah. Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State possibly. They've got to go to Ohio State, at USC, at Wisconsin. Iowa will only be dogs in one game.
We've looked at Iowa's schedule. It is super beneficial for them. Yeah.
Kansas in the Big 12. Kansas State in the Big 12.
Right.
Utah in the Big 12. And then possibly Oklahoma State.
Possibly the team that everybody's betting on. Kansas favored in 10 games this year.
The only chance they've got to be underdogs at West Virginia, at Kansas State.
Wow.
And then in the SEC, believe it or not, possibly 8 teams. Half of the SEC can be favored in 10-plus games, which makes no sense.
It really doesn't.
Because you talk about the cannibalism of that conference. But Alabama, they've got Georgia at Tennessee, at LSU, at Oklahoma. Those are all tricky games. I think Alabama will end up being favored in 10. Georgia, we mentioned the 3 top 6 games. I still think they'll be favored probably in all 12 games. LSU's got Ole Miss at A&M and Alabama. I could see them be favored in 10. Missouri at A&M, Alabama, and Oklahoma. Ole Miss will only be underdogs and at most 2 games at LSU and Georgia. Tennessee's got a possibility. A&M's got a possibility. And Texas.
20.
Isn't that crazy?
Teams favored in 10-plus games. That is insane. I never would have guessed it was 20. I would have guessed 10.
And I think it'll end up shaking out. It'll probably be about 15, but still.
Jeez. All right, so Lance has blown my mind, and I have fixed the college football playoff. What a segment that was. 4 Downs is next. This is the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at ryanbrownlive.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round. Unfortunately, over the past year, I've noticed significant hair loss. I asked around, and everyone said call Dr. Beckenstein. He is the absolute best. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration right here in Alabama, and he remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. He takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce quality results. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of hair restoration and cosmetic procedures. He uses that experience and his advanced training to help his patients fully understand his procedures they are considering. Call Dr. Beckenstein today, 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
It is not a serious injury, but Lance wasn't here yesterday. My heart skipped a beat when I saw Puka Nacua was injured in practice.
I will say this about Puka, and that was one of the concerns coming out, was top-end speed, which he didn't have, and then how banged up he gets. And last year, there were so many moments where he would go down.
Yeah.
He's just a tough dude, but he is on the edge of being injured all the time.
And it's he's week to week now, they're saying, but they think he should be back for the start.
Yeah, I think he's going to be fine. But, you've got 3 starting offensive linemen right now for the Rams that are also week to week.
Yeah. It is a lot of guys getting banged up. Rockstar, your Lions had another injury on the defensive front. You've already lost your kicker. So, I mean, it's I don't want to say your Lions. It's,
23 was the last chance, man.
I mean, starting to get banged up a little bit. Brandon Ayuk, apparently on the trading block, it appears that the Patriots and the Browns are interested, and the 49ers already have a structure for a deal with them. Just depends on who gets him. So some of those parts in San Francisco starting to depart right now. They haven't necessarily taken advantage of that window where they've had a cheap quarterback and a lot of good parts.
I would love Trent Williams to not see the field this year. Brandon Ayuk, go to the AFC. If I'm Ayuk, there is no chance I want to go and play with the Patriots now.
That's what baffled me. I guess the Browns would be a better situation for him, but the Patriots.
Yeah, I think the Browns would be a much better situation.
Well, you're praying Drake May's a good NFL quarterback.
Well, and the word was early out of camp he wasn't playing well at all.
Nope.
And you start to look around in Cleveland, if Deshaun Watson could actually, I don't know, be 80% of the Deshaun Watson we remember.
Yeah,
but, I've said this before. In the last 3 years, he's only played in 12 games.
Yeah.
He just hasn't had a lot of reps.
Walker and Daniel, both in the MyBookie.ag chat room, say he will be a Steeler. Brandon Ayuk will be a Steeler.
Okay, so Pittsburgh was definitely, those were the 3 teams, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and New England.
Yep.
But it looks like Pittsburgh has kind of fallen out of that race.
Yeah, the report this morning was that there was a structure in place for both Cleveland and Patriots in a deal. And Pittsburgh was not mentioned in that. So it does appear they've fallen back.
I will tell you, man, if I'm a Steeler fan, though.
Oh, could you imagine him with George Pickens? Yes. Give me all
Frymouth.
of that.
I mean, you start to look around in Pittsburgh, when they had – I would think they were one of the worst in explosive plays last year in the NFL. And I don't think that's not groundbreaking to say that.
Well, I mean, I remember watching their season opener, and I cannot remember who they were playing. They didn't get a first down until the 2-minute warning. First down.
I remember they played in L.A., and it was about middle of the season. And they couldn't do anything, but they ended up, they beat the Rams by way of paper cut.
Yeah.
Just converting every 3rd and 6. And finally finding a way to score. Their offense was brutal to watch last year.
Yeah. Daniel says you're going to be right about Fields starting week 1.
If I'm a Steelers fan, that's what I want.
Yeah.
You want Justin Fields. We see where Russell Wilson has been over the last couple of years. He's a shell of himself, and I think Fields has got a ton of potential. And especially, I think Fields, you can gamble a little bit more with that defense.
There is video of this.
It's always exciting when that's the first thing you say.
Yeah. Our guy Terrion Arnold got in a fight today. Your Lions are fighting back, Rockstar.
Right, here's where I'm confused. Terrion is in concussion protocol. What the hell is he doing in a fight?
I don't know.
I mean, was that not the report yesterday that Terrion was in concussion protocol?
He's right in the middle of a fight. I mean, unless there's multiple number zeros on the Lions roster, and I do not think there are.
No,
but it's with Malik Neighbors. As Clint Lamb points out, the SEC rivalry never dies.
Well, I cannot wait to see this game this weekend. That's one of those, if you want to watch a preseason game this weekend, make it Detroit, New York, based on how chippy camp has been and those scrimmages between the two. I mean, yesterday it was Daniel Jones flat out pushing a defensive lineman in the back and causing an all-out scrum.
He did. And Daniel Jones, they were like, why is the quarterback in a fight? He's like, I got my team's back. Daniel Jones trying to make a point there.
Well, yeah.
He's trying to get some love from the fans, I think.
Look, and he's probably a better fighter than he is quarterback. I mean, he's a big dude. Now, Terrion on the other side, you look at Terrion, I'm sure he's a little scrapper. You put him in a one-on-one with somebody in a Hardee's parking lot, he could probably clean house. But I don't think you want Terrion getting in fights right now.
Now, they say, someone else says Kirby Joseph. Okay, Kirby Joseph comes in. I'm watching. Oh, my gosh. Terrion gets in late. Terrion was on the coverage. Here, I'll just send it to Scott. Terrion is on the coverage, and Kirby Joseph comes over late. And Terrion, I think, is really trying to play peacemaker here. We'll get this after 4 Downs. 4 Downs presented by our friends at Slice.
5 locations created by the late Jeff Bajaya. His brothers Jason and Chris continue to celebrate his legacy. Make sure you stop into one of those 5 locations: Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park, the newest location in Edgewood. Local pizza, local ingredients, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Okay, let's start here. Who wins playoff game first? Justin Herbert, who's got a foot issue right now.
Yep.
By the way, also going to be in a walking boot for 10 days, is supposed to play in week 1. Justin Herbert, or I'll give you the combination of these rookies: J.J. McCarthy, who's having a great camp right now. Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams.
So I get all 3 of those guys, or
and
Justin
so you
Herbert?
get the Vikings, the Commanders, and the Bears. Or you get Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert's record not great in the postseason.
He hadn't won one.
I know. J.J. McCarthy.
I think Herbert's only 0-1, though. Maybe 0-2.
Yeah. I know he's at least 0-1 because he lost to Jacksonville. Can't remember what the other one was.
I think I would take the combination of the rookies.
I think I would, too. Like, I'm trying to think through just one of those rookies grabbing a divisional crown so they get a home playoff game.
No, I mean, if you told me, like, Minnesota would be a little bit of a surprise.
But I mean, with those weapons he's throwing to.
Yeah, but just because you know where Green Bay and Detroit are as far as winning the division.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in the NFC East, nothing surprises me. Again, we're just a couple of years removed from Daniel Jones winning a playoff game. And Jaden Daniels, getting a guy like Austin Eckler in that backfield. And then Caleb Williams. The Bears, people forget they were 7-10 last year with awful quarterback play.
Yeah, I think I'll go the combo of the 3.
Yeah.
Until Justin Herbert proves me wrong.
Second down.
Okay, which team ranked 20th or lower in the coaches' preseason poll has the best shot at the college football playoff appearance?
Which team 20th or lower?
Yeah.
Boy, I'm going to have to pull up the poll real quick.
Yeah, pull the poll up. Again, 4 Downs always brought to you by our friends at Slice.
Thank you for the vamping.
5 locations right there. Get into the Bajai brothers. I was really surprised, not that Alabama was 5th, but surprised that is their lowest preseason ranking since 2009. Did you guys talk about that yesterday?
Yeah, we did. By the way, that turned out good for them. 20th or lower: Texas A&M, Arizona, NC State, Southern Cal, Kansas, and Iowa. And I'm looking for a what out of
college football playoff
team?
Yeah.
Iowa with that schedule.
I think Kansas too.
Yeah. Iowa with that schedule. If you go look at Iowa's schedule, we did it the other day. You just mentioned they should be favored in 11 games. Let me quickly go to my handy-dandy Iowa schedule here. Please don't sleep as I talk Iowa
Iowa's only going to be an
football.
underdog at Ohio State.
Illinois State, Iowa State, Troy at home to open. They're at Minnesota. Bye week, they're at Ohio State. Washington at home, at Michigan State. Northwestern at home. Whiskey at home. At UCLA. Bye week at Maryland. Nebraska at home.
Yeah, they're favored in every game but the Ohio State game. Now, does that mean they win them all? No.
Nope. And there's a really good chance they don't face a top 10 or top 25 team outside of Ohio State.
The Cy-Hawk Trophy, one of those games that always seems to throw a team off and get one team on track. I could see them lose to Iowa State, lose to Ohio State, go 10-2. Ohio State and Oregon rematch, and Iowa at 10-2 is left home. Could you not see that with that schedule?
I could see that. I think that, and look, Matt Rule is on the show tomorrow. Y'all know we love Matt Rule. That Nebraska game is interesting at the end of the year. I think if that were a game that had playoff implications for Iowa, which it very well could, that's an interesting team to have to play there.
Third down.
Which top 5 team in the coach's preseason poll has the best chance of missing the college football playoff? I mean, Georgia and Ohio State seem almost impossible, don't they?
Yeah. Top 5 team to miss it?
Yeah, I almost put Oregon in that. I think it comes down to Alabama and Texas.
I mean, of those two, I'd take Alabama.
To miss?
Yeah.
I think I'll take Texas to miss.
Before I take Texas, I'd take Alabama.
So Texas goes to Michigan, Georgia, and at A&M are there. Yeah. Alabama's got 4 tricky games.
I mean, for the record, I think both of them are in. But if you made me pick one of those, I'm going to pick Texas. I'm going to pick Alabama, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, if Texas survives Michigan early, which I think they will, I don't know how they aren't any. I mean, like 10-2 would be worse case scenario.
Yeah.
Fourth down.
We got a couple of celebrity birthdays here. Andy Warhol would have been 96 years old. Lucille Ball would have been 113. With her smoking, you think Lucille Ball ever had a shot at 113?
I don't think she was going to make it.
Ultimately, who has been the bigger American icon, better career?
I would go Lucille Ball here. I have not followed Andy Warhol's career.
Yeah, I haven't really either. I know he got popped. What was that over? Was it just a crazy fan or?
I don't know. I'm looking. He's a good-looking guy, though.
Yeah. I mean, Lucille Ball, for a good 20 years, was probably America's sweetheart.
Yeah, I would think so. And probably the funniest woman alive.
She was. I mean, and really an innovator when you consider what she and her husband did as far as buying the studio.
Yeah.
So that they could own the rights to everything. I mean, that should not go, undiscussed, because that's the way everybody does it now. Or they want to do it. They don't get to, but that's the way everybody wants to do it. What are you looking for?
I'm just looking at his stuff. This Coca-Cola thing, the Marilyn Monroe, the multicolored.
You're talking about Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what are his
Campbell's soup? That's his.
Yeah, what is the art worth now?
Oh God,
I mean, is it millions of dollars?
I would imagine.
I mean, I may be kind of uneducated Calhoun County, but a painter is not really going to do it for me. I just got to tell you.
You don't like the Campbell's soup logo?
Yeah,
It's not simple.
The last time I went to the Browns, you had the Jackson Pollocks all over the place, right?
Yes. Art history at Jacksonville State was big for me. That is
At least
Ford
you got a credit in it.
It's Ford
This is the Danny Moore wing.
Ford House presented by Slice.
Yeah, from the Soul Pie, the Hot Mama, the Bajaya Special, Wing and a Prayer, you're going to love the specialty pizzas. Absolutely delicious. Get into one of those 5 locations for a slice and a salad today for lunch, or pick up a couple of pies on the way home. 5 locations. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
Rockstar, there was some old boy that graduated from Jacksonville State that ended up being a good painter. I will not be able to recall his name immediately, but I don't really know what he painted.
That's a good story then.
Well, I'm just telling you. He graduated from Jacksonville State.
Somebody
and he
became a famous dentist. I don't know his name. I don't know where he practices.
We got Randy Owen and Riley Green. I mean, Jacksonville State's pretty good in country music. You'll give me that, right?
Yeah. You'll have that painter. What was his name?
I don't care.
Oh.
That was his name. I don't care.
Now, did Randy Owen graduate?
That's an excellent question.
Did Riley Green graduate?
That also
Does
is an
anybody
excellent
go to Jack State and graduate?
It's filler.
I spent 6 years trying, Lance. All right, HydroLive, and I've since got, maybe we could see the video of Terrion getting in a scrap. It's a better angle than what everybody else is showing. HydroLive Therapy bringing you part of the show.
Yeah, HydroLife Therapy, open daily 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. If you need to get hydrated, these are the guys that can help you out. There are 2 locations in Birmingham, Homewood, now Highway 119 in Greystone. There's a location in Tuscaloosa. Very important, mention the next round. And the IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all of these great services, 20% off. And you get all these great services under one roof. IV therapy treatments packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, boost that immune system, and much more. Again, stop into one of those locations. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, hydrolivetherapy.com.
All right, so Lance has told you it's been all the talk of this Giants-Lions camp. For whatever reason, it has gotten super chippy, and they've had another fight today. This one involves Terrion Arnold. Now, in this video, Terrion Arnold is 0. He's in coverage on the play, but it's really Malik Neighbors and Kirby Joseph. But, man, when it first starts, Kirby Joseph is going after Malik Neighbors. Terrion is really just coming over, and I guess he's cleared of concussion protocol. He's kind of coming over as a peacemaker.
Dude, I don't know how many more of these controlled, we'll call them scrimmages, that they're going to have. But I think the game is...
The game's not until Saturday, I think. No, it's Thursday night. You're right, it is Thursday night. So they should only have one more practice tomorrow. It'll probably be a walkthrough. Right here, here's the start. Look at Kirby Joseph. I mean, they are going... That is a legit fight.
By
That's
the way, the
shoving.
NFL Network, if I'm the NFL Network on the fly, I changed this. They were scheduled to do Carolina. There's 2 games Thursday night.
I saw this.
Carolina at New England and Detroit at New York.
Detroit at New York, far more interesting to me.
I am going to 100%. I mean, you're right there in the same vicinity.
Yeah.
I mean, Foxborough to East Rutherford.
Now, I don't know that a lot of these guys will actually be playing in the game. We may have just seen the most exciting part of this. Terrion's more of a peacemaker, so... I don't think he was. That was far more Kirby Joseph and Malik Neighbors. I mean, they are going to blows. And at some point, man.
Yeah, Malik Neighbors breaks a hand.
I know. I mean, you're punching a guy wearing a helmet. My gosh. I mean, that's pretty violent for a fight in college, in professional football. So, Terrion.
By the way, how much preseason will you watch this weekend?
Well, my wife and I are going out of town for a anniversary trip, so very little. Falcons and Dolphins, I do want to see that, but I don't think you're getting a whole lot of starters. They're practicing right now.
Happy anniversary, by the way. Was it yesterday?
It was yesterday, absolutely. They just got Falcons and Dolphins just had a fight, too. Normally, I would normally watch it if I were at home. I'm not going to be at home. Second preseason game is my big one, though. That's the one where you're going to see most of the starters. So nice fight. Not Terrion Arnold, though, so we could save Terrion Arnold. All right, as we go to break, Precision Sports, they may need them after that Giants and Lions game. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics getting you back in the game and getting you healthy this year. Why continue with those nagging injuries, whether it was getting hurt doing something you love, like sport or playing with the kids in the yard, or something you hate, like yard work or chores or something like that, or working out. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, part of Brookwood Baptist Health Systems, can help you get healthy now. 205-512-3885. That is 205-512-3885. Or precisionsportsortho.com. Precisionsportsortho.com. The players voted on who is the best player in the NFL. Does Lance Taylor agree with the top 10? That is next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the next round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
The first college football tailgate party of the season is set. Bowling and Bragging will be Saturday, August 17th at 6 p.m. in Crestline Village in Mountain Brook, benefiting the Critical Care Transport Program at Children's of Alabama. For more information, visit boilingandbragging.org.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. Or the Meltdown. Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe, the choice is yours.
It is a great place for lunch, Odie's Tavern, but it'll be rocking tomorrow night as well for trivia.
Yeah, every Wednesday night, Odie's Team Trivia, the original location in Crestline, the newest location right there in Edgewood. Stop in either for great food from Rodney Davis, award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets, full of Bud Light. Stop in one of those two locations. Go see Will Haver and that great staff. It is Odie's Tavern.
Who do the NFL players think are the top 10 players in the NFL? The NFL Network does this every single year, and the rankings came out over the weekend. top 100 players of 2024. This is as voted on by the players themselves.
Yeah, I did see the top 10, and I like this. I like when the players do it themselves. I mean, this is like the ultimate pat on the back.
Well, because, and I'll just start at number 10. Like, I think if you did a top 10 list, almost nobody has Max Crosby, the Raiders defensive end, at number 10. But the players do.
Oh, my God.
He's a stud.
So fun to watch. There was a point last year, and obviously the Raiders weren't good. Now, they got better as the season went on. But there was a point I thought he could have been your defensive player of the year. I thought Max Crosby was that good. He wreaks havoc.
14.5 sacks, which is insane. 50 quarterback pressures, 31 quarterback hits.
And he's got a great backstory, too.
Yeah. Travis Kelce at number 9. I know he's unlikable to many, but you cannot argue with how good he is when he's playing.
He's incredible. But, the interesting thing here is without his postseason last year, there's no chance he's in the top 10.
He did get his 8th straight 1,000-yard season, though,
I mean, he's
or actually, he was just 16 yards short, I should say, 984, so almost 1,000 yards. And 5 touchdowns, though. That's all. 5 touchdowns.
It seemed like he had those all in the postseason.
Yeah. T.J. Watt at number 8, Pittsburgh Steelers linebacker. Again, just a guy that is another wrecker in the backfield.
Yep. Got no problem with this.
Yep. Trent Williams, you mentioned him, San Francisco 49ers offensive tackle.
Yeah,
widely considered to be best offensive lineman in the game.
Best way for him to stay in the top 10 is not play this year.
Yeah.
Hold out.
How about this, though? He's 36 years old and still considered to be the best offensive lineman in the game. 11 Pro Bowls. Just you could say anything you want about him.
First ballot Hall of Famer.
First ballot Hall of Famer. He's a mustard jacket. Chris Jones, Kansas City defensive end at number 6 is voted on by the players.
Yeah, that's the component of Kansas City nobody really talks about.
Yeah.
And, the defense has gotten much better, but it all starts with Chris Jones.
Yeah, 10.5 sacks, 39 quarterback pressures, 29 QB hits, 13 tackles for a loss for the 30-year-old out of Mississippi State. Now, here's your top 5. This is from NFL.com, as voted on by the NFL players. Cleveland Browns defensive end Myles Garrett. Through the first 11 games last year, 13 of his 14 sacks through the first 11 games. Now,
he has not slowed down.
He has not. They were number 1 defense in the league last year, and Myles Garrett was a big reason for that. He ended up with 14 sacks, but he had 13 through 11 games. Number 4 is where it starts, and this is a drop for this guy, and I'm really not sure why the players dropped him because he just won the Super Bowl. It seems like you would keep him at number 1. Patrick Mahomes is only 4th on the players' list. Why do you think the players dropped Patrick Mahomes?
Maybe they look around and they're like, well, you've got Travis Kelce. You've got Chris Jones on the other side of the ball.
But you no longer have Tyreek Hill. He had receivers that couldn't catch.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think every year you could put Pat Mahomes at number 1. I don't think anybody would have a problem with it. I mean, maybe some people just don't like Patrick Mahomes.
I don't know. I mean, but they've been voting him number 1. Did they just start not liking him last year?
Well, I mean, we all know that winning a lot really does fatigue people. He was winning a lot before last year, so I don't know.
I would say he's been number 1 the last 2 years. This is a 3-spot drop for him down to number 4. To me, he proved more last year that he was number 1 than he did any other year.
You're right. Rashee Rice.
I
mean, Travis Kelce kind of
disappeared.
Not the Travis Kelce that we were used to. Again, you saw it in the postseason, but in the regular season, you really didn't.
Yeah. Now, some of his numbers were career lows, but I do think if you watch the games, you understand why. Still, last time I checked, they held up the trophy at the end, and he was the reason why. Number 3, and this is up 32 spots. The biggest riser up, or the second biggest riser in this top 5, up 32 spots to number 3 is Christian McCaffrey. Full season in San Francisco versus a half season in Carolina, half season in San Francisco.
Man, I remember saying that I believed, and it was probably 6 years ago, that Christian McCaffrey was the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think people were like, there's just no way. And this guy, when he is healthy, he is so dynamic and can do so many different things.
Led the league in rushing yards, 1,459. Yards from scrimmage, 2,023, and touchdowns, 21 in the 16 games he played.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
And with all that talent around him.
Yeah, absolutely. So Christian McCaffrey up 32 spots.
Do you think Bryce Young would like if Christian would have stayed in Charlotte?
If he stayed in Charlotte. Number 2 on the list, up 70 spots, which is a weird jump for him. And I don't know Number one, I don't know why he was 72nd last year. But number two, I don't know what he did that jumped him from 70th.
Well, he won an MVP.
Lamar Jackson. I mean,
won his second.
Yeah, but Lamar Jackson's been an MVP quarterback before. Like, what did you see last year out of Lamar Jackson? Where you're like, I've got him 70 spots too low.
I've got a theory based on 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lamar Jackson is number one. Just his, in case you missed him last year, career highs in completions, threw it more than he's ever thrown it. Career high in completion percentage, 67.2. Career high in passing yards, 3,600. 24-7 in his touchdown to interception. Led all quarterbacks in rushing with 821 yards. That's 5.5 per carry. He also had 5 touchdowns there. He won the MVP. What has always plagued Lamar Jackson, though? There's only one thing that's always
the postseason.
The postseason. It's always plagued him.
And that's the one thing that will. I mean, everybody knows he's a great player, but he's got to be able to do it, get it done in the postseason to be considered one of the all-time greats.
Yep.
And I still think Lamar Jackson will win a Super Bowl. It could be as soon as this year.
So your number one player, as voted on by the NFL players, up 6 spots from number 7, is Miami Dolphins wide receiver Tyreek Hill. The first wide receiver to ever win the number one spot in this.
Now, how long have they been doing it, though?
14 years.
Yeah, because I was going to say Jerry Rice would have won it back in the day.
Probably so, yeah. He flirted. Let me just give you his numbers real quick. Calvin Johnson's single season record was in reach. He didn't quite get there, but he had 1,800 receiving yards, 13 receiving touchdowns. He did battle an ankle injury late in the year. Everybody gets hurt, though. And your theory on this, that the players voted Tyreek Hill number one.
It's speed. Like, they are so blown away with how fast he is. And I think the same with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
I think they were just like, this is just, like, all these guys are 4-4 guys, but these guys are another gear. So I think their speed blows everybody away. I think Tyreek Hill is the most electrifying player in the NFL. I don't think he's the number one player in the NFL.
I don't think so, but I would certainly have him in the top 5 or 10, wouldn't you?
I'd have him in the top 10.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, pretty heavy on the offense in the top 10 here, or the top 5 with Tyreek, Lamar Jackson, Christian, Patrick Mahomes.
On quarterbacks, though, that you would think.
No. In fact, let me see. Once you get outside the top 10, how long did it take you to get to another quarterback? Because there are only 2 in the top 10. C.J. Stroud was 20th, by the way, after his first year. They have the 20th best player in America. Josh Allen was 12. That's down 4 spots for Josh Allen. That's pretty wild, though, that the players, Jalen Hurts was 15th. Dak was 16.
Where was Tua?
And then C.J. Stroud was 20. I'll have to go find
I can't
Tua.
believe Dak was 16.
Yeah, it's a bit high. C.J. Stroud, though, in 1 year, already in the top 20 of NFL players, according to other NFL players. Tua's not in the top 30, Lance.
I just think it's interesting that your 2 highest paid quarterbacks right now, Jordan Love, Tua's right there at $53
Tua's
million.
36, Jordan Love's 34. That's your 2 highest paid guys. They're in the mid-30s, according to the other players. Which, I mean, when you think about all positions, that's a pretty high ranking.
Yeah.
That's probably, I haven't done the math here, but I'm going to say that's barely top 10 in quarterbacks.
But, boy, this thing falls quickly because you go back to the 2021 season, coming out of that, like most fantasy drafts had Cooper Kupp in the top 3. And I guarantee you Cooper Kupp in 2022 was top 5 of this.
Probably so.
And where is he now?
Yeah, he's not in the top 40. You couldn't find him. So that's what the players think of other players in the NFL. And I'm like you. I do find that interesting just to see what the players believe. And you've got a theory there on the speed with Lamar Jackson and Tyreek Hill that they get enamored by that speed. And it's the fastest quarterback in the game and the fastest receiver in the game. So I'm not going to argue with your theory on that one. All right, New York Butcher Shop bringing you part of the show. And we're going out of town, but the place we're going to got a grill. I may go by and
you should
pre-buy some meat.
We had our friend Mick Gillespie, who joined you guys yesterday on the next round, over for dinner last night. He had some of the iron skillet steak / broiled steaks. Got a side of the goat cheese mashed potatoes. I didn't realize I'd never had their biscuits before. You ever had the biscuits?
I have not.
Did them with honey and butter. Fantastic.
Oh.
This is like you can pick up everything. Again, it's a one-stop shop. They've got a great selection of fine wines, desserts, from the certified Angus prime beef steaks that we got last night, burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, all natural chicken cut to order just for you. 2 locations. Get in, see Jim and that incredible staff. Cava Heights, Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well done service.
That guy in the mybookie.ag chat room, media acts like Stroud is the second coming. He's great, but they're setting him up for a fall. That sophomore year is tough in the NFL.
It is.
Backing it up.
And in that division, you know, we talked about it with Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence really got his money from 2022, the money that he got paid. You know, because last year, Jacksonville, that was the team that everybody said there's no chance that they're not winning the South, and Houston comes out of nowhere. They win the South. I think it's going to be much the same this year. I think the AFC South is really unpredictable.
Yep. All right, now one more hour to go. Coming up in the next hour, players that can spoil the college football playoff. That's from 24/7 Sports. We'll look at those guys. And we got trash and much more. That's next on the next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Hang out with The Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out The Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Champy's world famous fried chicken brings you this hour. Champy'sChicken.com. Sterling has thrown the doors open there. They're ready for lunch at Champy's. Don't forget those pool boys, Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the great Champy's Chicken, Champy'sChicken.com. Highway 119 in Alabaster, Champy's world famous fried chicken. Clay Travis has already been with us. He was with us a little bit earlier. If you missed him, you can get that on demand. Pitbull is sponsoring FIU Stadium. He's put his naming rights for $1.2 million. That's kind of a small price for naming rights. It is FIU.
It is, but it is FIU, and I don't even know how many times they're going to be Like, we used to get an FIU primetime game. I remember talking about T.Y. Hilton way back in the day.
Way before he was an Indianapolis Colt.
And how much of that 1.2 is going to go straight to NIL?
Yeah, so Little T was sending me something. Let me pull this up. That there's apparently some interesting language in the from Ralph Russo of the Associated Press. Some interesting language in the contract that Pitbull has signed. And as soon as I can pull that up, I'll tell you what that is. But I mean, obviously, you got a ton of attorneys on this. Pitbull is not just going to do this for nothing.
Hey, Pitbull seemed, he's got his own Sirius XM that hasn't gone away. It's been there forever. Like, you cycle out of these different channels, but Pitbull, it's like forever Pitbull. And there it is. Forster's got it.
I got it right here. So Pitbull will be referred to as the official entrepreneur of FIU athletics.
Okay. By the way, I thought Pitbull's brand was bigger, more Miami-like than FIU.
Pitbull is granted the right to use the stadium for up to 10 days annually during the agreement's term. That tells me he's got some sort of concert thing planned. Base rental fee to be waived. Limited number of tickets to be set aside for FIU students at a discounted value. Voli 305 vodka, owned by Pitbull, will be the preferred brand distributed in the stadium and the stadium club.
He's got his own vodka. Shocking.
I know. Who does their own alcohol anymore? The ability for Pitbull-affiliated performers to perform at halftime or postgame of a home game. And football suite number 210 and number 207 will be reserved for Pitbull or designee at FIU football home games.
Boy, I bet those
bet
are going to get a little wild in there, aren't they?
I bet you Pitbull's never in it, but I bet you there's a party in there.
You never know. You never know. I would have thought the 1.2 you could get like that would be more like Too Short Stadium.
Yeah.
Like Pitbull does seem like
Stadium.
His brand has gotten bigger than FIU.
Yeah, Miami Stadium's already named Hard Rock Stadium, still under contract, so you couldn't get that one. But you're right. I associate him more with the University of Miami than I do FIU.
Yeah, or even South Florida. I mean, UCF.
Yeah.
Just a bigger brand than FIU.
Yeah, FIU is weird. So this tells me, number one, the vodka. I don't think Pitbull thinks he can make $1.2 million back in vodka sales, but it's a vodka advertisement. And then the 10 days of stadium rental tells me he's got some sort of concert thing planned there.
Okay, over the last decade of FIU football, more incredible that Pitbull has the naming rights or that they actually fired Mario Cristobal?
And it's pretty remarkable to think that they fired Mario Cristobal, who has since been the head coach at both Oregon and Miami.
Yeah.
And, had Oregon...
Had FIU really good for FIU standards, and then it kind of took a dip.
Yeah, that's probably the most surprising thing. Not that, if you just looked at it, you would
if he
assume...
doesn't get fired and become a position coach, is he ever in the situation he's in now?
Yeah. That's a great question. He was one of the, what people call the Nick Saban reclamation projects, right?
Well, there's a lot of them.
There are a lot of them. That one was one of the better ones.
A 30 for 30 just on those guys.
Well, yeah. When you think about Kiffin, Sark, Cristobal.
Can't say Butch Jones yet.
Not yet. He's still at Arkansas State, isn't he, Butch Jones? Whew.
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien was a big one, yeah.
What's he going to do at BC?
I don't know. But that was of course he went back to the NFL and it was not good. So it's I don't know how you grade that one. But yeah, you're right. That 30 to 30, that 30 for 30 would be pretty interesting.
Paul, somehow Cristobal will screw up Miami this year. I don't know how he can, but he probably will. Again, the only game they're possibly a dog is at Louisville.
Well, let's look for
they have such a beneficial schedule.
Let's look for pitfalls for Miami real quick before we move on to these players, because we'll come back to this conversation.
And by the way, there is a lot of respect being given to this program going into this season. And based on the fact that Cristobal has done nothing since he's been there.
Okay. All right, let's merge these two segments together here, what I was about to talk about in this, because it's naturally going to come up here. A natural pitfall for Miami is at Florida. They could lose that game.
Well, right now, only a 2.5 point favorite. And I promise you, tickets and money, back to that conversation, will be all over Miami.
Yeah, 2:30 kick. It's hot for both teams. Both teams know that Florida heat, so that's not really a factor. But at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, maybe both coaches coaching for their life, but one certainly is. And Florida A&M, Ball State, they're fine. At USF.
That's a tough game.
Yep. But then Virginia Tech. So here's what I wanted to talk about.
I think that's a tough game.
I know you do, because you like Virginia Tech. 24/7 Sports did a group of players that could ruin the college football playoff for somebody. And the first one they mention is Kyron Drones, the Virginia Tech quarterback, who you really like.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy. You know, report is they don't have a lot behind Drones.
Yeah. So anybody that loses their quarterback is going to hurt. But if he can stay, they play Miami and Clemson. They could play Florida State or Miami or Clemson again in the conference championship game. This guy, if he's what you think he could be, he could wreak some havoc in the ACC this year
They've
and
got
the college football playoff.
20 returning starters, like 90% of their production's coming back offensively. And I think they just hit their stride second half of last season and really built that confidence.
Yeah. So that is the first guy they mentioned. We'll come back to that. We're going to talk about that in this segment. But back to Miami's pitfalls. At Cal, I mean, it's a weird trip for them. That's what worries me about it.
I mean, I'd like to know, is it one of those, are we going to have a 9:30, 10 o'clock kick, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning Miami time?
Time has not been announced.
I just, to me, that's a situation where Cam Ward goes out and has probably played in Berkeley before and probably solays it.
After a bye week, here is a tricky part of their schedule. At Louisville.
By the way, I think it is the perfect bye for them. It really is half in on the schedule and maybe your most difficult game, just based on circumstances.
At Louisville, Florida State at home, Duke, who's probably going to take a step back after
once they get to November, they are gliding.
Yeah, Georgia Tech on the road.
Of course, Miami-Georgia Tech games are always crazy.
It was last year. Now you play it and Bobby died. Then after a bye, they got Wake and Syracuse on the road. But I think Florida State, that if they're alive past Florida State in the playoffs, it will be hard for Cristobal to screw
Well,
up.
I think if they've just got one loss.
Yeah.
If they make it to November with one loss, at Georgia Tech maybe. Yeah. I don't know.
It's going to be hard for Cristobal to screw it up from there. Another player, according to 24/7 Sports, that could up in the college football playoff is Travis Hunter from Colorado. I mean, I don't know where they're going to play spoiler. Travis Hunter is an incredible player. But for them to play spoiler.
So Colorado did get 2 votes. Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah.
Now, is Dion a voter?
I don't know. I never found the voters yesterday.
Yeah. Because if he's a voter, there's one.
If Colorado is going to play Big 12 spoiler, they've got 3 chances at the end of the year to possibly do it. You're about to tell me probably they're going to be double-digit dogs in all these games. They host Utah Saturday, November 16th.
I think they will be a double-digit dog there.
They're at Kansas. Again, Kansas does not have any home games this year. That's at Arrowhead Stadium.
They are a double-digit dog there.
And then they host Oklahoma State.
They will not be a double-digit dog. Well, by then they could be.
They could be by then.
Shedeur could be out, and, they could already have 7 losses.
But if you're thinking a guy like Travis Hunter or Shedeur Sanders could play spoiler, they do. The end of their schedule sets up for them to spoil it for one of those teams, but boy, that is at the end of their schedule. There is no telling what they're like by then.
Look, if they survive September, and they've got a lot of swing games in September, if they survive September with just 1 loss, they're going to have a lot of confidence, and maybe Colorado could make some noise. Colorado's one of the most polarizing teams going into the 2024 season because you have some that think they're going to be really good, and then you've got others like me that don't think they're going to be any better than they were last year. But if they were to go on the road, beat Nebraska, beat Colorado State, win at UCF, then all bets are off at that point.
Miller Moss, the Southern Cal quarterback, another guy that could up in the college football playoff. As Brad Crawford at 24/7 Sports points out, they play LSU, Michigan, Penn State, and Notre Dame, all playoff contenders. USC, I guess, is a peripheral playoff contender. I mean, you never fully count them out.
Ranked in the top 25. I think a lot of that is just brand. Miller Moss was great in the bowl game last year with the 6 touchdowns. Is he going to be that good week in, week out? I would just ask you this. When is the last time you saw average to just above average quarterback play under Lincoln Riley? I don't think we've ever seen it.
Was Spencer Rattler ever average or above average before he lost his starting job?
Maybe.
I mean, that was probably it, right? And then he lost his starting job to – who was the guy they went to?
Caleb Williams.
That's right. Was that it? Was it Spencer Rattler to Caleb Williams? I think he got that one right. So, yeah, maybe Spencer Rattler. That would be the only one.
But you look at Lincoln Riley's quarterbacks, Baker, Kyler, Jalen.
No, they've all been good. Every one of them. The guy knows how to coach quarterbacks.
I just believe that Miller Moss is going to be really good.
Yeah.
I just don't know about USC. I continue to see a preview yesterday for LSU and USC, and right now LSU is only a 6-point favorite. I don't know how LSU doesn't cover that number.
It seems easy, doesn't it?
It does.
Looking at it, it just seems so easy.
But that's one of those games like last year. I thought LSU was going to come in and pop Florida State, and Florida State obviously runs away with that game in the second half. If USC, you think about how different the narrative is on everything if USC was to beat LSU, though.
Oh, absolutely. Now you consider them a playoff contender, and LSU, you've got massive questions about.
And then Brian Kelly, you're like, in year 3, what in the hell is happening? Like, they haven't even tapped into this SEC schedule.
Haven't got to the hard part yet. James Pierce, linebacker, Tennessee, 24/7 Sports, says this guy could upend the college football playoff. They play NC State, who's a periphery. They're in the top 25, but ACC team. But they also play Oklahoma, Alabama, Kentucky, Georgia. And James Pierce is an incredible player.
No, James Pierce, you could at least make the argument coming into the season that he is maybe the best edge guy in college football. At least he's right there with them. And you lose Jordan Thomas, projected starter, and this secondary has got so many holes. I mean, they were basically depleted. They got to replace all 4 starters in the secondary. They lost 11 defensive backs from last year. Now you already lose a guy in camp. So James Pierce is going to have to be really good because the back end of that defense, I mean, this might be Tennessee all over again that we saw in 2022.
The next one he mentions, their coach is on the show tomorrow, Dylan Raiola. We will talk with Matt Rule tomorrow. And Brad points out that they're at Ohio State Saturday, October 26th. This would be the upset of all upsets. I mean, it would be a massive upset. I'm not pretending that.
Don't think it can happen.
You know how it could happen? Nebraska caught a tough thing here. That bye week helps Ohio State so much because here's where that game falls on Ohio State's schedule. It's at Oregon, and then Ohio State gets a bye, Nebraska, and then they're at Penn State. If you didn't have that bye in there and you were sandwiched at home between Oregon and Penn State on the road, that'd be a pretty good spot for Nebraska.
So Nebraska
better than normal
was
spot.
one of my 5 teams that I like the team total over this year coming into the season.
Right.
But they have to get it done in September and October. Because once they get to the end of October at Ohio State, UCLA should be a nice win. At USC, Wisconsin, and at Iowa. They're not going to win a lot of games in November.
Yeah. The last one is Donovan Edwards, running back Michigan. It's weird to see him in a spoiler discussion because they are the defending national champion, and they could be right back in the playoffs again, obviously. That's not going to surprise anyone, but they do play Ohio State and Penn State. And Donovan Edwards is maybe the best returning running back in the country.
Yeah, he's right up there with it, and you saw it in the national championship game. Was not used a lot, but he averaged almost 17 yards a carry in that game against Washington. I just don't know what you're going to get at quarterback play. Like, Alex Orji is fascinating to me.
Go look at Bruce Feldman, our friend with Fox.
Was Orji one of the freaks?
His freaks list. And Orji is doing this incredible exercise. I can't even really describe it.
I'm almost positive Joe Milton was a freak last year and it equated to 9 wins.
He probably
and I
was.
think that's probably Orji in Michigan right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at Michigan and I'm like, they're probably 9-3.
Yeah. Joe Milton, by the way, taking snaps in NFL camps right now.
I know. And I saw a video. Look at the freak that Joe Milton is doing a flip. He can do a flip, but he can't hit a 20-yard out.
He can do a flip and he can throw it 1,000,000 miles.
Yeah.
But everything in between that is his issue. For Michigan, that schedule, man, it has got tons of potholes in it.
It does.
Texas, USC, a road trip to Washington, Oregon. They still obviously have to play Ohio State at the end. A lot of losable games.
You know, is it a situation, does anybody come into that game intimidated? Because the tough games early are at home, though. You get Texas at home in week 2. And at that point, you've won 16 consecutive games.
Yeah.
And you are the defending national champions. You know, you turn Texas over a couple of times, very winnable game. And then I think Michigan's a better team than SC. So if they survive September, if they're 5-0 going to Washington, watch out.
Yeah, I mean, no, you're absolutely right, because once you get past that, you've still got Oregon and Ohio State, but you host Oregon.
But I still think with wins over Texas and USC, you could lose both those games, be 10-2, sit at home, watch the Big Ten championship game, and still be in the college football playoff. There is no way they go 10-2 with this schedule and they don't get it.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. With that schedule, a 10-2, if your losses are Oregon and Ohio State, I still think 10-2 gets you in there.
Well, 10-2, you've beat a top 10 team. So you've got that on your resume, and the fact that you were 15-0 and you won the national championship the year before. I think that will factor in. Somebody voted Michigan number 1, a coach.
I did see that.
I would assume it's probably a coach that has a mentality that you are top until you get beat.
Probably. I've never liked that mentality, but a lot of coaches believe that. I was going to see if I could find the coaches real quick.
I don't think Sharon Moore would put that pressure on himself, do you?
I don't think so, and I don't think he would have a vote this quick either.
Yeah, and I don't. Is there any way you put Ohio State over your own program? Just for the fear that your fans would find that out?
There's a ton of voters. Major Applewhite has a vote, by the way, at South Alabama, so you do get one pretty quick, apparently. This is his first year's, as the head coach of South Alabama. Let's see, Sharon Moore. These are listed alphabetically. Gus has a vote. Sharon Moore does not.
Deion Sanders.
Primetime. Kirby's got a vote, but Deion Sanders does not. Your guy Brent Pry does. Brent Pry. Obviously there are a lot of voters. I'm not going to sit here and read them all to you. Elko's got one, and Texas A&M Drinkwitz has one in Missouri.
Freeze or DeBoer?
Freeze. Let me check DeBoer here. I'm in the D's. Ryan Day. Kalen DeBoer does. Kalen DeBoer does have a vote. Did not vote his team number one. Hugh Freeze does not have a vote.
Would you call Kalen DeBoer humble?
Yeah. I think he's a pretty humble guy. Yeah, I think he's got some humility.
I mean, he just seems like one of those guys that will never change.
No, I agree with you. Your namesake has a vote, Lance Taylor at Western Michigan, former Alabama receiver.
I like me some Lance Taylor. That is a superstar in the making.
Yeah, Western Michigan. He's got him a vote in the coaches poll right there. Hey, Way to Wellness. That's the group that changed Jim Dunaway's life. They're changing the lives of a lot of people up here. They not just helping you lose weight, but helping you make sure that you've got your body, the numbers, the blood pressure, the heart rate, things like that, back in the range they need to be for healthy living. The website to go to get started is aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. That is the website to go to for Way to Wellness. The reason it is aplanforme.com is because it is a plan tailored for you. It is not some cookie cutter plan. Leslie and her board certified staff there at Way to Wellness make sure you are getting the plan that works best for you. Just go get a risk-free evaluation. Start at aplanforme.com and get signed up to get that risk-free evaluation and get started on that journey to healthy living like so many have up here. The Meltdown crew down more than 100 pounds combined. They are getting healthier. You can as well with Way to Wellness. Aplanforme.com. Aplanforme.com. Rusty says, I see Michigan 8-4. Matt agrees. I won't be shocked if Michigan lost 4 or 5 games this year. Morgan says Michigan beats both Texas and USC. That'd be the start you're talking about. Yep. Paul says USC is going to be much better on defense. Look out for them. I don't know which game he's talking about. He said he'd take USC +6 at the moment. That's against LSU, right? Was that what it was?
Yep.
Morgan says Colorado only wins 4. Paul says they've got no depth, only 4. Steven says, I always liked Lance Taylor when I was a manager and he was a player. Steven was a manager, I guess, at Alabama. Lance was on the show. Didn't he block a punt against Oklahoma? Am I right about that or something like that?
He blocked a punt against somebody.
And he was on the show, right?
Yeah, he was on the show.
Yeah.
And we joked about doing a Lance Taylor show.
That's right.
But
that never materialized.
Bigger ambitions for him, right?
Head coach at Western Michigan. He was was he offensive coordinator at Louisville? He was on the Louisville coaching staff.
And then he was on the Notre Dame coaching staff.
That's right. He was on the Notre Dame coaching staff.
I mean, he has earned his stripes, man. This guy he's grinded. He's worked his ass off. And, hopefully all it takes is one good year in the MAC.
Yeah. I'll never forget Lance Taylor. It was either Greg McElroy or John Parker Wilson. I'm not sure which former Alabama quarterback was trying to do a group text with me and you, and they put the wrong Lance Taylor in there. So it was me, either John Parker Wilson.
I've gotten I've had assistant coaches, and I still get a couple a year. Yeah. They'll reach out.
They'll reach out to you?
Yep.
Like on social media or your phone?
No, on phone.
They just they've got your number randomly.
Yeah, I mean it's some local guys.
Yeah, and they'll think you're the Lance Taylor at Western Michigan.
And I guess it is kind of confusing.
Yeah, I could see that. No, but it was a former Alabama quarterback, and they sent a group text, and I realized quickly what had happened because I didn't have the other Lance Taylor saved. And he responded back, hey, dummy, that's the other Lance Taylor. He was given either
I just didn't think it was really and I know it's not a common name, but I told you guys when I went to L.A., and I never got a SAG card, but I remember looking at the Screen Actors Guild, like if I was going to I had to register under a name, but I couldn't do it under Lance Taylor because
there was already one there?
He played Blackula back in the day.
So you can only have
Big role.
You can only have one?
Well, it's like Emma Stone. What is Emma Stone's real name?
But also Michael Keaton, because his real name is Michael Douglas.
Yeah, but Emma Stone went with...
I already got a Michael Douglas.
Yeah. Emma, because it was like Baby Spice or one of the Spice Girls.
Yeah, she's a huge Spice Girl fan.
But she couldn't use her name because it was already registered.
Oh. You would think they have a system for that, and I wouldn't have to
they
change
do.
my name.
First come, first
First
serve.
come, first serve is, in fact, the system, Ryan. Hey, please give us a thumbs up on YouTube, and if you haven't done so already, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, and set your alerts so you always know when we're live. And at Disrupt the Media, you can get all of our extra content, the Pennant Grace, like they did yesterday, the Pennant Grace on social media as well, the Meltdown, every single day after us, 2 o'clock. War Down Pods constantly with a new Village Vice and more coming to that in the near future. You can hear about that on Thursday. Roll Tide Pods, more coming to that in addition to Elephant in the Room and Bama and Bourbon. More on that on Thursday. And also Taylor Korn is Uncorked. You get all of that right there at Disrupt the Media. Make sure you follow all of those, set your alerts, and give everything a thumbs up. That helps us a ton when you give us a thumbs up, and we appreciate you doing that. Follow us on social media at Next Round Live. We do trash next on the next round.
Follow Jon Lunceford on Twitter at jlunce.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Champy's Chicken bringing you this hour of the next round. Sterling and the crew there at Champy's taking care of you for lunch and dinner. They're open right now, Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. Champy's world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. Michael Keaton's actual name, Michael Douglas, Bobby says. It's Emily Jean Stone, Stacy says, in the mybookie.ag chat room. But she went Emma, as Tyler says, because Emily Stone was already registered with SAG. I never knew this was an issue. I just assumed you could be registered.
I doubt she would want to go back to Emily Stone, but if she did, I think you should probably be able to push the other one out, right?
Well, I'm just saying, if my name's Brad Pitt right now, do you think even if I'm a great actor, I'm not going to be, it's one Brad Pitt.
Can you go Bradley? I mean, how strict are they on this?
Wouldn't you hate for your name to be Brad Pitt, though?
I'm just saying, like, that's what people would misread it. Like, Bradley Pitt's in this movie. I guess he went Bradley now. That's cool. He's changed.
Yeah, I mean, if Lance Taylor becomes the next Nick Saban, I got issues.
If that is true, yeah, your phone's really going to blow up. People wanting jobs. I think it's wild to me that coaches have called you, that they've gotten that confused and called you about that. So in my phone, I had to save Lance Taylor as Lance Taylor at the time, Lance Taylor Notre Dame.
And you know how I know it's not meant for me? It always starts with Coach.
Yeah, Coach. What's up?
Let
man?
me see if I can find a couple because I know I got some from last fall.
Do you like? But you got to be really careful with this. Now, Lance has a unique way of saving names in his phone. Like when Lance shares a contact with me, I always laugh at the way he's got the contact saved. It's never what I would call normal or conventional. Conventional is a better word. But Rockstar, if you have multiple names, like multiple people with the same name as your phone, like I knew 2 guys named Marty Smith. So I've got to put Marty Smith and I've got to put ESPN next to it just so I'm not texting the wrong guy.
Well, if I have people I just meet where this guy was a great guitar player to play with. What's your name? Mike, and I can't remember his last name, so I just put Mike Guitar.
Mike Guitar. Well, I've done that before if I don't know their actual name.
Like, who the hell is Mike Guitar?
Yeah. Like one of my best friends in the world is a guy named David Morris. Well, there was another guy named David Morris that we had on the show one time. I was accidentally texting him something that was intended for my other guy, David Morris. And I'm like, wow, that could have been super embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because being that we're close friends, he and I will text a lot of crazy stuff to one another. And had that been one of those texts, I could have really embarrassed myself. Riley says, Brown, show Lance how to search his messages for a keyword if you want to see those texts today.
That's what I did. I put in Coach. There's a lot of Coach things in here. And it's not that I'm talking to Pat Coyne either. That would have been nonstop,
Was
right?
that Coach?
That's Chief.
Yeah.
Oh, Chief.
I've got another Ryan Brown that lives in my neighborhood. Isn't that pretty wild? I mean, how many Ryan Browns do you actually know? And there's 2 in my neighborhood, and I'll get like messages for him sometimes. Like, thank God he's not like some big troublemaker or something getting arrested and crap.
He's a troublemaker. I'm not the troublemaker.
That'd be super embarrassing. But I do get stuff for him. All right, every day at this time we do trash. It's always presented by our friends Mortgage Right. Rockstar, if you do not mind, would you please hit that big button?
So, what was your inspiration for tonight? Be honest with me and go into detail.
LT's Trash is presented by
So
Mortgage
dumb.
Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Okay, I'm going to have to get back to that.
Yeah,
Boy,
we'll
it's
find it later.
amazing. There's so many. We have this coach on the show today. So
That's
I'm
true. Yeah, I
sifting
forgot about
through
that.
those.
Yeah.
Our friends at Mortgage Right always bring you trash right here. If you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. And speaking of veterans, they are veteran founded right here in Birmingham. So whether you're looking for your final home or your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Call them 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. We start first with the most expensive home in Iowa.
I'm going to pass, but I am interested in seeing it.
I am. I'm a little surprised. I would have thought the amount would be more. But the 25,000 square foot home sitting on 178 feet of lakeshore sold for. Do you want to guess what the most expensive home in Iowa is?
So I get to look at it.
Well,
Wow,
this is cluttered.
That's quite the house.
It's like a country club.
Boy, they like turquoise, don't they?
Yeah, that is. I don't even know what country club that would look like, right?
Yeah,
But it does.
a dated one. It would look like a country club that built their clubhouse in the 70s. I am going to say in the state of Iowa, that is going to go for $5.4 million.
Well, I'm off then. $9.5 million.
9.5? I live in Iowa, though.
You know, I just got done, down at the beach, and you drive by and you look at, like not almost every other one, but there's like a couple of houses in almost every subdivision down that strip that are $10+ million, which is insane.
Are they on the ocean? I mean, on the Gulf?
Not all of them.
See,
Most
that's what's
of them
crazy.
are.
Most
like
of them
Inlet
are.
Beach now. Like, I don't know if you've seen some of the houses in Inlet. There's some $12 million houses that aren't on the beach.
Yeah.
They're on the beach side.
That's right. And I guess at that point you've got a nice neighbor that lets you access. I mean, how does that work?
I have no idea.
Well, if I'm going to pay that kind of money, I at least want to be able to go to the beach.
Now, the house's listing soft launched in April with an asking price of $9.95 million. The house was built on a 1.25 acre property in the early 2000s. According to the Wall Street Journal, about 90 officers were hired to guard the home during its building stage. One of the most notable features is, and I hope you got a picture of this, Rocky, is the Inn Bar designed to look like an Irish pub right out of Dublin.
That's pretty cool now.
Yep. It includes a stage area where famous musicians have performed, while the bar area can hold up to 300 people for shows.
Do you know that there is a bar? It's in Chateau Alon, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's outside of Atlanta.
Nope.
They've got a golf course there. They've got a spa there, and they've got a vineyard there. And there is a restaurant there that is, I thought it was just made to look like an Irish or Scottish bar. I'm not sure which it was. But apparently, the people that started that vineyard, they had a ton of money, obviously, loved that bar so much, they found out that it was going to get torn down. So they went and got everything they could out of that bar, shipped it back to the United States, and rebuilt it on the property there. It's actually a pretty cool bar, especially when you consider that it used to literally be in Ireland or Scotland, whichever one it was.
So house doesn't stop there. It also includes a movie theater that can fit 20 to 25 people. Outside of the theater's concession area where people will enjoy drinks, popcorn around the bar. All of the upholstery from the bar stools and booths in the concession area come from vintage vehicles. Home features a total of 52 rooms, including 8 bedrooms, 15 bathrooms. Everybody needs 15 bathrooms, right?
No doubt.
A little odd ratio, but okay.
How many rooms?
8.
8?
Well, 52 rooms, 8 bedrooms, 15 bathrooms.
Yeah. Is that an 815? Because I really don't want to pay that much if it's only an 814.
Well, it's an 1815 and a half.
Okay.
The main level also features elevated area to serve as a stage with a piano and view of the lake, as well as a fireplace, 2 kitchens, one in the grand room that was designed as an open space fit for entertaining. Second is commercial kitchen located behind the grand room, typically used by the family living there.
I told you I got rerouted off the interstate Sunday coming home from the coast. And I was driving through rural Chilton County. I don't know exactly where I was, wherever Waze took me. But there's this house up on the hill that is massive. And it's surrounded by a bunch of small houses and some mobile homes and stuff like that just in the area around it. But this is a massive brick house. And it's got a for sale sign out front. And I'm like, how are you ever going to sell that thing? Like, you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no telling. I mean, I would guess in a normal, like in a neighborhood in Birmingham, it's a $2 or $3 million house. I don't know what it's worth out in the middle of nowhere.
So the reason I said I was a little surprised 9.5 was the most expensive house in the entire state. I would say in the Birmingham area, we have 15, 20 houses, 10 million or more. Is that too much?
You also got to consider, it's just because it's Iowa.
I think the most, I think
that house here would be a lot more expensive.
Oh, there's no doubt.
The house is in Mountain Brook. Oh my.
Yeah, like I saw one in Mountain Brook that's on like 3 acres. It's really interesting. I saw the aerial shot.
Right.
And then it's just an amazing house, but I want to say it was close to 9 to 10 million.
I thought the most expensive one in Alabama, and I could be mistaken about that, is the one that the guy that was involved with Health South built out near us. It's in Shoal Creek.
Is that the one with like the guitar in the front?
Yeah, like if you look at their landscaping,
yeah, I think that might be
guitar.
urban legend though.
Oh, really?
Well, I think maybe back in the day it was.
Yeah, I don't know that you could get that price for it now, but I think when it was built, it might have been.
I don't know. I'm
There's
sure we have
14.9 million mansion in Muscle Shoals.
Muscle Shoals?
Is that 14.9 top listing?
18,000 square foot mansion.
Holy crap!
Known as The Landing.
Do you see anything Birmingham?
No.
By the way, Laura in the chat room, that was not Richard Scrushy that built that house. It was another guy that was involved with Health South, and I think he got out before all the you-know-what hit the fan.
Did he get out clean, though?
I think he got out clean, but he couldn't sell his house. I think that one stayed empty for a little bit.
Joshua McGregor has been sentenced to 5 years in prison for intentionally starting a fire in Savannah, Georgia in April of 2023. Lit a piece of cardboard, threw it into a dumpster outside, which was filled with flammable material, but the fire became so intense, customers waiting in the drive-thru were forced to give up their orders and leave. Now the entire restaurant had to briefly be shut down while the flames were brought under control. McGregor filmed the fire on his phone and pleaded guilty to charges of arson.
Tony Hawk got pissed.
He doesn't look happy.
No, he was pissed at what? Was he working there? He didn't like the working conditions?
He was overwhelmed with work. Like there was customers nonstop, so I can deter
I'll just
dumpster fire.
I'll just torch the
that'll do
dumpster.
it.
Yeah, it worked. Everybody got out of line, didn't they?
Brian Nassaru says he was fired from the house featured in the film The Conjuring after his boss said she was told by its 19th century owner that Danceru had been stealing money. Now, the Burleville, Rhode Island farmhouse, also known as the Old Arnold Estate, has been an international draw for paranormal enthusiasts ever since it was made famous by the 2013 supernatural horror movie The Conjuring.
I've never seen The Conjuring. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it, nor do I want to.
I think I've seen it. I'm not a big fan of those kind of horror movies.
Well, that looks like you could make that a super creepy house in a movie.
Did see a special on
Yeah,
this, like it was on like Unsolved Mysteries or something about this house. Now, Danceroo said that he worked at the home, which is open to visitors until current owner Jacqueline Nunez fired him abruptly last month. Danceroo said she told him that the spirit of John Arnold, who owned the home with his wife Abigail in the 1800s, said Danceroo stole about $3,000. Now, Danceroo has denied the theft. Went on, quote, she said, John Arnold told me you've been stealing money out of the cash box for the past 2 months. Nunez, a self-described medium and channel, confirmed she fired Danceroo and that spirits of, quote, the most famous haunted and active locations in the world told her he had been stealing.
The spirits told me you've been doing it. So
I'm sure
I can't argue with that.
Rockstar, can you zoom in on the camera structure there on the corner of the house? That is a pretty incredible security system for this old house.
A lot of motion detectors, and I think a lot of people come to this house.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, you are not going to sneak in undetected. My Lord.
And those are original from the builders, I think.
So what do you think a world record for centenarians gathering in one spot would be?
Can you remind me what a centenarian is?
100 plus.
100 plus.
Age.
Oh, people that are that old. Why was I thinking the person that's half human, half horse? What is that called?
Centaur.
Centaur. Okay, thank you. I was close. Yes. So this is the world record for people 100 or older.
It's an Italian retirement home has broke the Guinness World Record.
I would say 15 in one spot.
You want to see a party I would love to go to?
Is this it, Rockstar? You think they're in bed by 7? Holy crap.
70.
A lot of wheelchairs in that picture, Rockstar. A lot of them.
Damn.
I mean,
now, hey, is the dude with the tie on the right or our right standing? Is
That's
he?
a little young bastard.
What is he, 82? Boy, at the wheelchairs.
What's about to pop out of that cake?
Something very slowly.
Betty White.
A pole vaulter.
I mean, is everybody in a wheelchair? I'm not making fun. I am just literally asking. Is every single person there in a wheelchair? I think they are.
Now, this is in...
I think they're all in wheelchairs.
They've been holding this gathering for about 15 years. Guinness World Record adjudicator was brought in for this year's event, which saw 70 people had surpassed their 100th birthdays in attendance. The former record, 2016 in Australia, with 45 people.
I think we lost one in the picture.
Would you notice? I mean, yeah,
Oh,
she's
wow.
either asleep or the great beyond.
No, I mean, I hate to say this, but I would bet one of those are already dead.
Yeah.
When was this taken? Yesterday?
Probably this weekend.
Well, that's quite a cake, too. My gosh. Well, good for them, man. I hope they're happy. You're late in life.
I want to put the goals down and let them run 5-on-5.
Dunaway shows up.
Sorry, I got to make some threes over you guys.
Viral nightclub video has exposed an uncomfortable truth for women everywhere. If you wear high heels to go out, you're officially old.
Oh, really?
The film or the clip filmed on Friday night at a local bar shows the entire venue filled with young women who appear to be wearing the same outfit: jeans, nice top, and comfortable sneakers. While the first two items on the list were a millennial wardrobe staple, the latter is a footwear item no one over the age of 30 would have been seen dead to go clubbing in. For young women who were coming of age before the era of social media and smartphones, it almost went without saying you'd end a night clutching your heels in your hands. But it seems Gen Z has put an end to the age-old tradition, deciding that being comfortable is far superior option when it comes to dancing and pub crawls. I mean, I'm not surprised. Like, this was a look for a long time, but that has got to be the most uncomfortable thing in the world.
I can't imagine. So I had not thought of this until you brought it up. But when we were in Dallas for SEC Media Days, there was a girl that was working the venue. I don't know if she worked for the Southeastern Conference or maybe the venue, but she had on a very bold color of high heels. So I immediately noticed them as she was walking in front of me. But I also think it was one of the first times she had ever worn high heels, because do you see, you know how they get the wobbly leg?
Yeah, it's not a good look.
She had a real bad wobbly leg to the point she almost fell, like right in front of me.
What strikes me as this picture is there is one dude that reminds me of me every time I go out.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
he
just
is
surrounded by the chicks.
Surrounded.
Yeah, look at
Like
him.
he's backed up to a pole.
Yeah, like, ladies, leave me alone.
He's got terrible shoes, too.
Yeah.
They look like ballet slippers.
I guess it's true what Andy Dufresne said, right?
How often do you look at a man's shoes? Killed Rockstar that one. How often do you notice man's shoes? Hey, do you like that look?
What, high heels?
Yeah.
I mean, the look's okay. I don't mind the high heel. I just the functionality of the high heel never made sense to me.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like, what did the sideline reporter do back in the day? Like, Emily Grace has never lived in that moment where I would think, like Melissa Stark back in the day, probably wore high heels, right?
Probably so, yeah. I mean, that was probably just the understood, and now they wear, comfortable sneakers,
But
right?
you do that in Lambeau.
Oh,
kind of a messy night.
A messy night,
Sink.
cold foot.
Yeah.
You got that stiletto there?
Hey, it is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran founded here in Birmingham and offer loans throughout the country. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information by going to their website, mortgageright.com. Call 205-900-7200.
Hey, don't forget, you've got NFL preseason coming up. We showed you the fight earlier. Thursday night, the next set of preseason games. Now, your NFL Network game, as Lance pointed out, is the far less attractive Carolina and New England game. I doubt you will see Bryce Young in that one. I don't know if you'll see Drake May. That would be the only appealing thing to me, is seeing Drake May.
I think you will see Drake May.
Yeah, because he's certainly not the guaranteed starter. They've got to evaluate him.
I don't think he will be starting.
Yeah. Who is the backup there?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, that's right. Jacoby Brissett. He's been in the league forever. The far more interesting game would be Detroit and New York, because they have been fighting all week, including one today that Terrion Arnold was kind of in the middle of, but he was playing peacemaker. Those are your Thursday night games.
But we will get to see, Joe Melton, you mentioned.
It's true.
I mean, he's listed as their third guy right now, and Bailey Zappi, who has started games before.
Yeah. So that's who you're going to get to see in that one. I'm with you. I wish we would see Detroit and New York. Sometimes on the NFL Network, though, they'll cut away.
Yeah.
So I think if you watch it,
and if you've only got two games.
That's right, yeah. So if you're watching on the NFL Network, you'll get to see some. I don't know how much fighting you will see in the actual game. Scott is showing you Kirby Joseph and Malik Neighbors just going all out earlier.
I have never understood why part of NFL Sunday Ticket is not all the preseason games. They're all televised.
Yeah, I'm with you. If I'm paying Sunday Ticket, I ought to get all the preseason games. I'm 100% with you on that. Now,
look, and we'll take the local commercials.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
So I don't understand why you don't get it.
Every year the Dolphins play the Falcons in a preseason game, so I normally get that locally. I don't know if I will this year.
So you never had, you had DirecTV, but you didn't have it early on when we had the card that you would buy and they would trick it?
I had that on Dish Network.
Okay.
Yeah, you could do that.
With that card, you could watch every preseason game because you had every affiliate from all major markets. So, you didn't miss a preseason game back in the day.
But one year, I remember I had to sign up for some NFL thing, and it was 7 free days. The first 7 days were free to watch a Dolphins preseason game. And this is going to be one of the saddest sentences I've ever said on this show. I was so excited about Jay Cutler as our quarterback that I wanted to see it was the second preseason game. I wanted to see the start. I admit that's a sad sentence. I think
we view Jay Cutler much different if he has different body language.
Probably so. I mean, Jay Cutler is one of the better quarterbacks Miami has had between Marino and Tua.
And the best quarterback the Bears have had
since Jim McMahon? I mean, you put him in front of Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
Who went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's probably the best they've had since Jim McMahon. I can't think of another one. I mean, Cutler won more games there than anybody else has, who's been a good Bears quarterback.
I think he just, I think his condo in Nashville is more than that house in Iowa. I think he's got
$9.5 million?
I think he's got a $10 million condo. I've seen the development downtown,
Is it downtown Nashville?
Yep.
That's getting after it now. A condo for $10 million in downtown Nashville.
Well, it's probably an entire floor.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that boat tour in Chicago? The architect tour?
I've never done it. You swear by that,
it's
but
incredible.
I've never done it.
Like 4 or 5 times, but one of the last ones we went on, it was like a couple of summers ago. They were building this new development, and it was residential, and it was right there on the river. But the bottom units, and they were talking about it, were like $1 million, and it just got more expensive the further up you got.
Jeez.
But the penthouses there were insane amounts.
Hey, a reminder, if it's not flowing right, running right, or draining right, Hemp Hill Services is the one you call. Hemp Hill Services will get there, whether it's residential or commercial. They'll take care of you. They have helped all of us on this show, including me recently when my capacitor went out. Thank God that's all it was, but I called Hemp Hill. 205-229-2090, 205-229-2090. Adam, Chad, and the entire crew there at Hemp Hill Services, making sure everything runs right, drains right, and flushes right. 229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Put the wraps on another day of the next round after this.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
The first college football tailgate party of the season is set. Bowling and Bragging will be Saturday, August 17th at 6 p.m. in Crestline Village in Mountain Brook, benefiting the Critical Care Transport Program at Children's of Alabama. For more information, visit boilingandbragging.org.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Some Major League talk quickly. 2 things. Buster will be on the show on Thursday, so we'll talk both of these. Before we do that, Lanyas Furniture. Reminding you that it is a short drive to big savings there at Lanyas Furniture.
Yeah, big savings and incredible inventory there at Lanyas. Stop in, see Reggie, John, the fine folks there. Our friends at Lanyas Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Lanyas offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment, and a slew of mattresses. You can also get $300 in Lanyas sleep credits with select mattress purchases, or special financing is available from our friends at Lanyas. As you mentioned, very simple drive. From Birmingham, take exit 280 off of I-65, the Hallmark Farms exit. Go south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. Lanyas right there on your right. No pressure. You walk in. Just an incredible inventory and incredible savings no matter what kind of furniture you're looking for.
The Braves are starting to get a little healthy. Are you a believer in the gap has closed a little bit? The Braves look to be playing better. Are you a believer in the Braves right now?
I'm not necessarily a believer in the Braves, but I don't know if I'm a believer in anybody right now in the National League.
even your Dodgers?
Yeah, even the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I mean, the Dodgers aren't playing great baseball right now. The Phillies aren't playing. I mean, your 3 best teams, in at least record-wise, the Phillies, the Brewers, and the Dodgers, all of them, the Dodgers 5-5 in their last 10, the Brewers 4-6, and the Phillies 2-8.
Michael Harris is coming back to Atlanta. He will start with AAA Gwinnett in a rehab assignment tonight. So they're starting to get. Max Fried was back on the mound. Now Michael Harris coming back. So they're starting to get a little bit healthier.
Yeah, they are getting healthier. So that is a positive sign. And look, they're squarely in the postseason. I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, it would take a massive meltdown.
Yeah, I mean, when Dunaway says that, people get scared. But I would 100% agree with you. I don't see a way they miss the postseason. And once they get to the postseason, Albee should be back. They should be back as whole as they're going to get without Acuna.
I'll tell you who is playing good that nobody is talking about, and I want to ask Buster about the Diamondbacks, a team that actually, played in the World Series last year, started out really, they just seemed off. And now they're playing really good baseball.
Only 5 back of your Dodgers. They've closed 3 games with the Dodgers over the last week and a half.
Yeah, and that division, as good as it was a couple of years ago, has gotten good again with the Padres the way they're playing.
Yeah. So you're a believer in the Diamondbacks.
I just think they're an interesting team to watch right now.
Yeah. So the Braves start the day 5.5 back with the news that Michael Harris is making his rehab start or starting his rehab assignment there in Gwinnett. So hopefully he'll be back in the lineup soon for the Braves. But what was once a pretty big lead by Philadelphia, the Braves just keep chipping away. On the bad side, Scott Forrester's mic, please. Scott, overnight last night, it reached 21 games. As you pointed out, if games were years, the White Sox losing streak would be legal drinking age now.
21. 21 is it's pretty hard to do.
It is pretty hard to do.
You just wonder if there's somebody out there that has faded the White Sox for all 21.
Well, they've made a bundle, haven't they?
Oh, my gosh. If you just doubled that down, I don't even know what the number would be.
Yeah.
You'd be retired.
Yeah. Scott, I don't know. I mean,
They're playing in Oakland tonight, and
It's a pretty bad team you're playing.
Oakland is with they're minus 210 right now.
Yeah. So now you guys are just losing even Garrett Crochet starts, right? I mean, at one point that was your win, Scott, was when Crochet was on the mound.
Yep. Can I sell you on this game tonight?
Give me the watch.
Okay, the White Sox are throwing Jonathan Cannon, who's 1-5 this season, against the A's Ross Stripling, who's 2-10.
So we've got a combined 3-15 starting pitchers tonight. Is what you're selling me on?
Yeah, buddy.
Where do I watch this? Where do I not watch this?
Yeah.
Is that on Marquee Network or whatever it is?
Well, I would get it on the NBC Sports Chicago app.
Yeah. 8:40 first pitch if you want to really punish yourself and watch White Sox and Athletics.
Just looking back at results, how in the hell did y'all win 4 in a row against the Guardians?
Also have they won 2 out of 3 against the Braves.
That's good. That was back in April, wasn't it? How many people?
Hey, you got to go back to July 10th, last win against the Twins.
Almost a month ago.
They have won 2 games since the 4th of July. How long ago does the 4th of July seem?
Feels like an eternity.
And I think 0-17 since the All-Star break.
Yeah. How many people? What's your over/under on attendance at White Sox at Athletics at 8:40 tonight, Scott?
I'm going to go like 1,500.
Did you watch any of last night's? Was anybody at the game?
There were a couple empty seats.
Yeah, I bet. Lance, I asked this question yesterday. Is it the worst Major League team you've ever seen in your lifetime?
I got to be honest. I hadn't watched a lot of White Sox just based on results.
Yeah.
Got to be up there.
I mean, I look.
Yes. The answer is yes.
I look back. I can't remember who we found that was, I think, a 43-game winner once in our lifetime. But, I mean, they're on pace to win 37 games. That's what they're on pace for, is 37 wins. I'm not sure they get there. They're at 27 right now. I don't know if they can find 10 more wins this year.
Now, it says, I mean, how many one-run games have you guys lost? Because it says against the run line, 56 and 57. No, that's Detroit. Excuse me. I was about to say
there's no way they've been that close. So 8:40 tonight. I was gonna,
they're still almost 20 games under against the run line.
Yeah, I was going to try to find the attendance. I don't know if Major League Baseball will let them print the attendance from last night's game. But if I could find the box score, I will tell you how many idiots paid to go see that game last night. Surely people aren't paying to go to games in Oakland anymore, right? Aren't those like tickets you can get at the local convenience store or something like that?
They have lost 5 straight by at least 4 runs.
That's hard to do.
They can't score.
I've never seen anything like this.
Well, you scored 7 2 nights ago and lost 13-7.
Tell about Dr. B before we get out of here, Lance.
Dr. B is the man. He has been helping me out. He's trying to help Brown out right now. Dr. B pioneered the use of NeoGraft hair restoration in Alabama, remains at the forefront of hair preservation in the Southeast. Dr. Beckenstein takes pride in treating each patient personally, applying his expertise to produce quality results. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Again, I'm doing the non-invasive treatment 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time on the couch. That is it. My hair is more than doubled in thickness. Call, schedule a consultation today. 205-319-0316. That's 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
Our kickoff party at Walk-On Stadium Trace is coming up a week from Thursday. All right, so on the 15th, save the date. Make sure you're there. It's supposed to start at 5. You guys get there early. Stay until. We'll stay with you. How many people, Lance, give me a good estimate, do you think in the entire time we are there will go and come from, like, total people that were at one point in attendance in that time window at Walk-Ons? Just give me a guesstimation.
I would say 300.
300. I would have said more than that. There were 4,900 people at that game last night, Oakland and the White Sox. We'll get 300 to 500 people that go and come at a party at a Walk-Ons for our little show.
Yeah, I don't know what the head count is. I don't know what, like, the fire code at Walk-Ons is.
Yeah, I really don't either. It's probably a better question for Matt or somebody at Walk-Ons. But 4,900 people were at that game last night. 4,900 people.
Well, that's
Major League Baseball
4,900 reported. What do you think actual in the seats?
I thought that once there was a rule where the lowest number you would announce were season tickets sold. Like, that was the rule in baseball.
I don't know what it is.
If there was a season ticket, like...
I think the Bay Area takes more pride on the smaller attendance now.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I think they're almost...
Like, can we get this
they're
to
almost making a point.
3 digits?
Yeah. Anyway, there'll be more excited people at the kickoff party coming up a week from Thursday. All right, hey, by the way, on the show tomorrow, our buddy Matt Rule, Nebraska coach, 925, if you want to see him. Thank you to Clay Travis for joining us. Thanks to all of you who make this show so much easier. We appreciate it. You have a great afternoon. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 o'clock on The Next Round.